I mean, that's a great change.
No audio?
Uh-oh.
What up? Oh, okay. Apparently we've had no audio this whole time. Well, welcome to Free Play Richardson. You have missed one of the most fascinating discussions of my life.
That's fine. It happens.
Well, no wonder. No wonder people aren't messaging. Hey, if you're in the chat now, we're monitoring it. We always have been, actually. Oh, Mental Lizard almost messaged us. Thanks. We've actually been talking this whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we just reset that entire conversation. We're gonna, me and Arthur and Josh and Emily are gonna have another meeting about all this.
I did watch your all's podcast about doing the Billy Mitchell stream and all that, and I think I was very impressed because of all the stuff you all had to do in the background to make it happen. Because, I mean, I asked you, I think I asked you like last Wednesday or Thursday about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like, on the fly, can you throw this together? Is basically, I was just like, I'm in town if you want to do it, because you had mentioned it last time. Like, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, I was thinking, man, my first thought was, I hope I left him enough time, because I don't want to have you scrambling to get something together at the last second. But
well, we do this for a living, so it's not like we had to buy any equipment. We have it all.
That's true.
We have it for I started with Spring Series back in the day. Streaming this stuff. Wow, it feels like I've had this conversation before. I started streaming this stuff then, and like back then when I started this, I didn't know what I was doing, like at all. I was just holding a camera up, trying to record what was not being recorded, because I felt like it's part of the history of this arcade. Like, this place is being opened up. It was the first bar and arcade with a free play model in the world that I am aware of. It was part of the history. Like, the first Spring Series is recorded partially, and it's all me holding my phone up, and that's it.
So you're a cameraman and producer all at the same time.
And player at the same time. The Joust tournament, I won, and I was recording it, and my arms were on fire. Like, you can see like the camera shaking as I'm trying to hold it.
Yeah, that's ooh.
Hi, Cloud, by the way. Yeah. Oh, and if you have any questions, again, feel like I'm being redundant here. If you have any questions in the Twitch chat, I'm monitoring that on my phone. If it slows down, I'll switch back over to the YouTube chat and check that out. I noticed there wasn't a lot of feedback. I was just like, well, people are just enjoying the show, I guess. I mean, I know people are watching, but so anyway. But yeah, I don't know where I was. An hour into the conversation and awkwardly reset.
Well, let me ask some dumb questions about Miss Pac-Man, if you don't mind.
The sequel to Pac-Man. As Beltran will tell you, it is an illegitimate game in the franchise, as only Pac-Land counts.
You said earlier that you have a Sega Genesis that you got specifically for Miss Pac-Man. Have you ever tried Pac-Man: The New Adventures?
No. I bought it. I bought it just for, it was $20. I was 20 years old. I was out yard selling with my mom, and I was just like, oh, Miss Pac-Man for $20? Yeah, I can do that. And I only played like maybe 3 games on it. Miss Pac-Man, what are the other 2? Volleyball was one. My brother found that one, and I'm not even sure what the other one was. I keep it at home because I had my best friend's sons out with me, and I was like, oh, they want to come to my apartment. I'm like, okay. I mean, there's not that much in my apartment. It's not exactly a, I'm not exactly rich, high on the hog on money side. So I was like, well, so they have I think they have an Xbox. So they come over and they're playing on the Sega Genesis and they're loving it. I'm just like, I took a picture, sent it to their dad and was like, yeah, this is where your Xbox sits in their hierarchy. They're playing my Sega. That's right. Because I mean, I was loving it. I thought for sure they would get bored after like 30 seconds, and nope. In fact, one of the younger one who is very, very skilled and very good hand-eye coordination. His name's Chris. He's actually he's a pretty good archer too.
We're everywhere.
Ooh. And he's a really good archer too. So you know what? You
got the reaction you were looking for.
Well, it wasn't that close. All right, which one? This is the 4th one. I gotta remember that.
Well, now you got it, and you got a banana. Sweet.
Oh, bananas are good.
I didn't get 2 in a row. Or is it always banana?
You're gonna jinx it, Arthur.
Oh, my bad.
Don't tempt the gods.
So is this level 19 or 17?
This is level 17. Level 18 will be next. It'll be
Okay.
the last time they change, and then it's off to the races, basically.
All right. So we were discussing earlier, and I learned several things about Miss Pac-Man, that the first 16 levels all allow you to eat the ghost. Then after that, there's one level where you can't eat the ghost, one where you can, and then you can never eat the ghost again.
Right. That is correct. And, I mean, and the thing is, since there's a kill screen, the ghost, in Pac-Man, the ghosts make up, about the same amount of points, which is about 250,000. Well, if out of a perfect game of 3 million, that's not that much. But out of this game, it's almost a quarter of all the points. So, once I realized it was a kill screen, then I realized, oh, you have to get them if you want to really get, insanely high score.
Right.
And at that point, that's when I was like, that's when I kind of started to sort them out a little bit more.
I've never had the personal patience to get to the kill screen, to be honest with you. Like, I kill screens. If someone was paying me to do it, like, I kill screened Galaga on the wrong settings, but, like, I would never play it that long normally.
I probably kill screen about once or twice a week just in practice.
Right, yeah, no, you got to. Like, you're a world record range. You need to.
Well, you have to stay sharp. I mean, because I stopped playing for about 2 years, just because I stopped going to the bowling alley where I played normally, and I didn't even realize that there was a Miss Pac-Man at the laundromat across the street from me. So there's a Miss Pac-Man, literally a 1-minute walk from my apartment, and I didn't know about it. I'm like, and then one day they had the door open because it was a nice day, so they had the door open to kind of keep things fresh and air out the place. And I look over and I could just see the side of the game's all I could see, and I was like, I know what game that is. I mean, it's like that. Oh, I can look. When I travel and I find arcades, I'm looking for Miss Pac-Man.
I get visibly angry whenever I go to a pizza place and it does not have Miss Pac-Man. I have walked straight out of a pizza shop and been like, I can find another one with Ms. Pac because it's not pizza if Ms. Pac is not there to bless it as she does.
Well, it's definitely one of the most prolific arcade games of all time.
Yeah, I think, and this is one of the things I would point. I was like, I got lucky because I got really good at probably one of the most popular games of a classic arcade games. That's something, everyone knows this game. I don't think there's anybody who hasn't played either Miss Pac-Man or Pac-Man, and so it's just by chance that
he's that guy from Smash Brothers. Sorry, things you hear working in an arcade in 2019.
A lot of the Smash Brothers Pac-Man animations are from either Pac-Land or Pac-Man: The New Adventures, which is kind of hilarious. The two worst Pac-Man games where they took a lot of the inspiration for that character.
Especially Pac-Land.
I saw the run on that on the YouTube. I saw his run. I was watching. I was like, "What is this? This isn't a Pac-Man game.
It's insane.
What the hell? Like, what is this thing?"
I mean, actually, like it's not my Pac-Man. That's for sure.
Oh,
But I am impressed by like the amount of effort that was made in the game. Like, there's clearly like strategy and secrets and stuff happening. Like, it's more than just like. We got the license and made some nonsense. It is nonsense, but like it's nonsense with a purpose. So at least they tried.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's weird.
Whenever I look to travel, I do look through the pictures of arcades because like I said, there's 30 arcades. I found 30 different arcades in the Dallas, well not Dallas, in the Texas, and all over. A couple in Houston. Fort Worth has, the general area is probably 20 or so. I mean, they're obviously most of them are in here, but it's always interesting when you get to a smaller town because some small towns have some really good arcades. You just have a person who, just loves this and they built, maybe 20 games.
Well, yeah, and that's all you need. Like, you don't. Well, like if you have 20 well-maintained games in your arcade, that's heaven for me. I'm not going to play more than 20 games.
I will say that arcade in Dayton, the one that had the kit on the Miss Pac-Man, which allowed me to play beyond the normal kill screen, which, I'm tempted just to see how far I could go. He won't stay open for 80 hours for me, unfortunately, but he would. But he's open for 12 hours. My brother also, it's a good place to meet my brother. He had about 20 games. Ooh. Small room, real small room. And, I remember one of the problems is that me and my brother do cuss. And so, we're kind of dropping some F-bombs, and we're not doing it too loud, but the room was so quiet, and it was like an echo chamber.
Right.
And I finally had to look over it, and I figured this out because I got there first and started playing first. I had to look over and say, hey, it doesn't matter how quiet you say it, everyone can hear it, so you might want to watch it. And so we both kind of watched ourselves after that, but it was just like, but they had 20 games, but they had Millipede, Centipede, Asteroids, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian. He had such a good collection. He had a driving game. He had 4 pinball games. He had just a perfect collection.
Yeah, curated.
Yeah, and it's like he wants to grow. And I'm like, well, my first thought was if you grow, as long as you keep the balance between those types of games.
It's a really hard line to draw, like the curation. I know it's something that's paramount on Corey's mind all the time when we're designing new free plays. It's just getting that mix right and making sure it's right. Making sure. I mean, obviously, a sped up Ms. Pac is required in every location, and it is.
And I appreciate that.
Right, and the normal speed Ms. Pac, the slow speed is not welcome. But
I will say I have a lot of respect
stated.
for people who can do the slow speed because it is a lot longer of a game.
I have respect for them as a gamer. I don't want to play the game.
I totally agree with that. And the worst is when I go somewhere and they have the slow version. Or I'll check, especially if they have a high scoreboard. If I see the high scores, because usually people post this kind of stuff, and so I'll check and I'll look and I'll see the score, and I can usually figure out pretty quickly if it's if it's over 100,000, it's the fast version. No question about it, because
so hard.
very few people can do over 100,000 on the slow version. There were 2 arcades in Illinois that I wanted to stop at. I still want to go to them and check them out, but they're low on my list because both arcades have the original slow version, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, okay, but their high scores are in the 50,000. I'm like, oh, that's fine.
I've said this before on my thoughts on the speed versus the non-speed. The creator of Pac-Man has made more games since Ms. Pac-Man came out. Not that he made Ms. Pac-Man. This was Crazy Otto, and then converted. An American programmer made this game. But the speed chip was put in, I assume, by American arcade operators back in the day.
Oh, I have no doubt.
I'm thinking it originated in America, but I don't know that for 100% fact. Who actually put the speed up chip in for the first time, I don't know. But
God bless that person.
Indeed. And the thing is, the creator of Pac-Man has made games since then, and every single one of them that he has made has been at this speed. Like, it's just more fun.
Well, this is the speed that I want to control Pac-Man. It seems so optimal and fun, you know?
Well, I mean, people put a speed chip in Pac-Man, and
if you go play Pac-Man Battle Royale right over there.
Yeah. Faster version.
Yeah. Well, there's no slow version. It increases speed as you play. It's a 5-minute timed game. No, I'm sorry. That's Pac-Man Championship Edition I'm thinking of. But it's still a timed game, and you just keep going fast and accelerating at faster and faster paces. It's just more fun that way.
I'm very impressed with how you dodged the blue guy right there. Like, that was the tightest,
There's a man who wasn't there to watch me play.
I'm gonna say because
I nearly gave David a heart attack earlier.
Yeah, I was watching. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, what's funny is like there are times where like I'll get the last dot and be right underneath of them, and to me, I know exactly what I'm going for. I know exactly where I need to be, and so it's like I'm like that's not that close. I know exactly where the last dot is. I know what I have to. I just have to beat the ghost. I have to beat the ghost to the dot, and that's it. Although I will say on Sega Genesis, if you get to the dot and the ghost same time, you die, and then the board ends after that.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's weird.
Different formats, different platforms, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not. At first time I did that, I was like, that's not cool. Not cool at all. But no, I'm and there are times where you'll graze the bottom of the ghost, and it's it's like I kind of learned wherever that hitbox is where you have to hit to die, it's like there's certain times you can graze through them. I do know you can run through them in certain instances. Billy Mitchell, there's a video somewhere him doing that.
Where you can run through them.
Yeah, where I think it has to do with if they're turning, their eyes are looking a certain direction. If they're not looking at you, they can't get you.
Correct.
And that's always a.
Interesting.
I think I've done it. Well, sometimes I've gotten trapped, and that's exactly what happened. Like I'm just like, oh, God. And
talk about a Lazarus save. You're just like
you go through and you're like, oh,
there's
okay.
a heart attack.
The worst is when you go through and then
you die instantly because you were unprepared for it. Yep.
I'm like, oh, well, that sucks.
That's a true Lazarus save right there. You just don't know. If you, Lazarus save is a pinball term, and if it bounces on the bottom of the machine and magically comes back up, and you forget to flip the flipper, It just goes right back down again.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
would. Oh, pinball. I love playing pinball, but I am not that great at it or anything. It's one of those things I love. Like I would at Rec Bar, they used to have a sped up. They had a 16-1, and they had a sped up Miss Pac-Man on, so I play it. They got a new one, and they didn't have a sped. They had the two Miss Pac-Mans on the 16-1, both were original. I was like, I looked at the owners like, really?
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time we do this, come out to Free Play Arlington. I hope it's still there. I don't know if it's still there or not. Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man. We have the pinball machine. So, and it is Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man in that version. It's not Ms. Pac-Man.
That's interesting. I'm about to check
I want to say it's not there right now.
But
Dun, dun,
but either way, it's in the collection. It's at a Free Play somewhere. I'm sure.
It'll be out if it's not.
But yeah, it's a pinball. It's Ms. Pac, or sorry, Mrs. Pac, and
There's a score
you can learn that way.
Score's actually pretty good right now. It's on pace to be top, really like close to 900,000 at the end,
See?
based on where it's
nice.
You need me yapping at you the whole time, so I'm your good luck charm.
Well, I slow
Routine
down
now.
when I'm talking, and on top of slowing down, slowing down helps me kind of not put myself in danger. Because when I'm playing by myself, I tend to take a lot more risk that I don't take.
Did
when
you
I'm,
just go through the strawberry?
Yep, he missed that hitbox.
All right.
you can roll through them. There are times where you like, especially if you come around a curve, you'll miss it. All right, where's that reverse at?
But yeah, I think I don't know. There's a more casual environment to play it, so you can kind of not necessarily get nervous about it.
When I'm at the laundromat, it's like there's a TV on behind me. I can hear that, which I'm usually listening to whatever's on. If there's football on, I'm listening to that. I mean, on my drive up here, at one point I was just listening to the college football, the college games. They were going on. One of them was a game. The other one was more of a scrimmage against a high school team, I think.
So, Gordon Nelson, thanks for chiming in. I'm in the YouTube chat now. You let me know about the no audio before. I had switched over.
You're up.
Ah.
Yeah, I know.
Done with this. Fine.
Let the folks in here.
I'm gonna catch him. It's gonna take me like an hour and a half.
Now the worst if I don't kill screens, I'm probably gonna get a text from my brother. Me and my brother. Oh, here we go.
I didn't have time to flip it.
Yeah, if I don't kill screen, I guarantee my brother's probably listening right now. So kudos to my brother Daryl, because he'll still he'll send me a text, a smart aleck text, probably just telling me what happened. Oh, I guess not to be. Poor Dave. Of course, that being said, when we were at that Dayton arcade, he was going after he wanted to break 1 million in Galaga, and he didn't get it. I'm like, well, Daryl, not all of us can be great world record players at games, It's just, and the funny thing is, though, he actually is a pretty good player at Miss Pac-Man. His PR is like 906,000. He's not
That's
a
good.
chump by any stretch of the
That's
imagination. He doesn't get all the ghosts. And he asked me one time about that. He said, if I'd gotten all the ghosts, do you think it would be, a lot higher? I said, well, we talked about it, and I said, I'd probably be like a 930, 940 game. He leaves those points because he wants to be able to run. But yeah, he called me up.
Have you eaten all the ghosts in this play?
Yes, I ate all the
Excellent.
ghosts. That part is not gone. That's actually one of the things. Like, dying isn't as big of a deal. It's missing points drives me nuts. I can live with dying, but if I miss points, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you can't get them back.
The slow version of the original version of Miss Pac-Man, the world record at one point, I forget when it was broken by 500 points. It was broken by an orange.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Those games last so much longer, and they go through all that, and then you only beat the record by 500 points, and then someone destroyed it after that.
500 right there.
But what was I saying? Yeah, my brother he's a pretty decent player. We talked about trying to do more things, like go to arcades. He can go after Galaga, and I can go after Miss Pac-Man.
Well, without a kill screen, Galaga is another one of those titles that you're just gonna have to go until you drop dead. I want to say the record is around.
I think my brother. We talked about this last night. It's like 17.5 million.
Yeah, and it takes about 2 hours for 1 million points, so we're talking 34 hours or so to catch it. There's a guy in Iowa I ran into, Jordan. I forget his last name. But I went out there, and they had a high scoreboard, and their high score on their Donkey Kong was like 850. I think it was like 850.
guy kill screened it and then just kind of left.
Yeah.
And I reported, and I went in. I took out the Miss Pac-Man high score. Well, his high score last I saw was around 10 million. I mean, he's just a really solid player, and he.
Yeah, this is more time that I'm willing to commit. Like,
But I mean, when I went there, the high score was like 6-7 million. I was like, man, that's
that's fantastic. And,
I know.
that's a good point to stop it, in my opinion, in Galaga, because you've passed the million-point barrier, and you've demonstrated that, like, you know what? Not the lives that I have accrued don't matter. We're not dying.
Well, my brother prefers the original slower version on the trigger. Man, cherries are coming in fast and furious for some reason.
Oh, you're saying it was the quick? Yeah. There's no kill screen on the slower version. It's like you said, it's more difficult. Sorry, that was.
Well, he
the
likes
non-audio part.
Yeah, he likes it because it's more of a challenge, and he said if it's the faster firing version, he said it's basically the arcade up in Dayton, they had an option.
It's like you have a laser beam to take everything
well,
out.
there were two different types of settings. One was the speed that you fire, and one was rapid fire. So you just hold the button down.
Yeah.
And if you have the faster version and rapid fire, you're basically playing with a machine gun.
Yeah.
And he said that's really just not that hard.
No.
There we go.
No, not and just playing it normal is not that hard. So it's not a lack of difficulty that you need. And if it's a matter of like, and if I say that out there and people are like, well, I have plenty of a challenge with normal difficulty on Galaga. Like, good is the answer. Like, it should be challenging. It should press you and make you feel like you're playing a game and not just sort of having a recital. Like, that's what makes it feel good to freehand a game. So
I mean, I think that well, I mean, it is challenging when you get really good at a game. For me at least, sometimes I forget that like 400,000, 500,000. That's still an impressive score. I just got so used to to me that's. For me, that's if I get 500,000, that's not a good game for me,
right,
because
right.
that's really upsetting, because it means I didn't succeed at what I wanted to.
Oh man, I'm elated if I ever get that high, but different standards for different people.
Right. So has our Pac-Land champion Michael Beltran. He's never actually achieved 500,000. R.I.P. Beltran.
Well,
you'll get there someday.
I mean, one of the problems is my brother's really good at it. So I see, his high score is 96,000. So it's like, it must not be that, not that big of a deal. And but he called me up when he was, he called me up when he was in Lexington, Kentucky. There was an arcade down there called Arcadium. Nice little small place. Only had like 10 games, nothing crazy. They have a good bourbon choice. All the barcades in Kentucky have a good bourbon choice. I will stipulate, if you like bourbons, come on in. They will like. I mean, they have shelves with probably about 60 or 70 of them on there.
It seems like a good spot in the world to get that particular beverage.
I mean, technically, you can only get a true bourbon from Bourbon County in Kentucky. And there actually are rules to it, to how you have to make it.
Is that kind of like that champagne thing where if it's not from the Champagne River Valley, you can call it like sparkling white wine or something?
Something like that. And the thing is
that seems fair.
I think you can get bourbon elsewhere. There's just now rules to it. But some purists are like, if it isn't from Bourbon County, you're just not. You're drinking whiskey. You're not drinking bourbon. So, although if you want to drink, I really don't think you're going to care too much. If it's good, it's good. But
right.
But they had a contest, and they had been only open about a year, and the contest was high score wins 2 free men's basketball tickets to UK men's basketball game. It was the year that they went to the NIT, so it was not a good year, but it was the last game against a ranked Florida team. And, of course, my brother calls me up, and I'm like, he went to check it out because the high score was only about 320,000, and he was like, man, that doesn't seem very high. And he gives me a call, and he wakes me up, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he goes, well, the score is turbo. And he goes, and also, just so you know, you get 5 lives starting out. And I was like, what? So the best they got at this point is 320,000, and they get 5 lives plus an extra one, so you get 6 lives total. And I was like, Daryl, I've gotten 400,000 points drunk. I think I can get that. He goes, well, I'm going to take first shot. I say, well, you do your best, and I'll be right down to whoop up on you, okay? And like I said, we have a nice little competitive thing between us at least.
Sure.
And he got to 745,000.
All right.
And then I took it to 760. I didn't have a great game, but I was not with 6 lives. I was just not about to lose that to my brother. And then for fun, I played one more game, went to 830, and And of course, they gave me the tickets. Like, you're gonna go, right? And I was like, yeah. I've never been. Rupp Arena it's an experience. Even if you're not a UK fan, I recommend it if you can afford it. Because
I mean, it's one of the great temples of college basketball.
I will tell you the only other place if you want the experience. And
Chapel Hill.
Well, I'm a volleyball fan, so I'm gonna throw a volleyball venue out. University of Nebraska volleyball. Now, if you're obviously, I will say. There's still no love lost between Texas and Nebraska. That is clear as day because I went out there for a little tournament with ranked teams, and one of the ranked teams was Texas. And it did not matter who Texas was playing. The fans for Nebraska always cheer for the other team. Now, I will say they're very smart with volleyball in Nebraska, and they had a 5-setter against Florida. It was 2 top 10 ranked teams, second day. And when they got done, it was a great match. And the fans, as they were walking out through the tunnel, probably about 100 fans around the tunnel gave a standing ovation to both teams because it was a great match. But they have 4 luxury suite boxes in Nebraska for volleyball. For women's volleyball. I mean, they're a powerhouse, don't get me wrong. But 4, it looks like a basketball arena. And it's just like, it had the same feel as Rupp Arena.
And that does sound a little bit insane, but at the same time, I would love to go see a UConn women's basketball game in UConn at some point.
I want to get down to Texas to watch the Texas women play, and a little shout out to my Cardinals. They knocked them out of the tournament this year in a massive upset. But University of Texas women's volleyball is a phenomenal program, and I'd like to get down to some of these bigger programs and actually watch a home game because I've been able to go to Minnesota and all these other places, and it's just like watching these top level players play. It's for me as a 5'9" white guy who could barely jump. I mean, I'm a decent player, don't get me wrong, but to watch all these women play at such a high level, it's amazing, and it obviously gives me a chance to travel around the country, which gives me a reason to find arcades, which is I love. But but I managed to win 2 tickets to that UK game, and they were lower bowl center court, about halfway up. These were phenomenal tickets.
All right. Sounds like good seats.
They were phenomenal, and I got bored, so I looked on later on, and I could have asked $700-800 for each ticket individually if I wanted to. And I was like, dang. I took my best friend, and I was like, dude, we are never going to see these kind of seats again so long as we're alive, so you better enjoy this. And the best part was he worked at a bar, a little fish house in Louisville, Pastime Fish House. Place looks like a horror film kind of place. You look like you're going to die. You drive in the back of a dirt road. You get back there, you park. It looks like a shack, but somebody's going to kill you in there with a chainsaw. And then you go in. The food's great. I'm being dead serious. It is a great place to eat. The burger's great. I highly recommend it. It takes forever to get, but it's great. But he had to go there and work during U of L games, so he had a UK shirt on over top of a U of L shirt on. And when we get out of the car, he hadn't put his UK shirt on or changed his hat. So I'm like, could you possibly change your hat and your shirt before we get attacked in the parking lot? I really don't want to start an argument here. So we did that, but I mean, and the owners told me later on that guy who was winning the tickets, apparently he was at the bar that night before I got there, and he was being a total D-bag, just pissing them off. They were going to give him the tickets, but they really didn't want to. And he said, man, you and your brother walked in, the greatest thing that ever happened. Because in the middle of my brother's game, the guy came over, and my brother was like 500,000. The guy realized he had no prayer of beating that. And he just looked at them and said, well, F you all, and walked out. And my brother had no idea what was going on. The owners were like, deuces, don't come back. And so I was like, glad I could help you. But, yeah. Yeah, so that's the nicest thing I've ever won. $20 pizza to Wick's Pizza would be the second highest.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
You're welcome. How was that pizza, by the way?
Oh, it's very good. Oh, Wick's Pizza is very, very good.
Of course it's good. It's a pizza parlor that had a Miss Pac-Man.
Right, there you go. Well, that's you don't get to call yourself a pizza parlor without that. Come on now.
That is so true. To me,
that's phony.
It's like a pizza. Well, to me, it's a Pizza Hut because when I was younger, we always ate Pizza Hut, and so I'm like, Pizza Hut always has to have a Galaga and Miss Pac-Man.
Yep. Accurate.
The Pizza Huts, both of them in my hometown College Station had a tabletop Galaga, Pac-Man, and an arcade and a bar top Arkanoid. And
nice.
that was the interesting one because that one not quite as common.
I mean, that's an interesting game, but the Ms. Pac is required.
Yeah, I always wanted to be good at Arkanoid, but I don't know. Guess I'm not good enough at Trig to play the game.
Oh, he's going after that pair. He wants it. That's 2,000 points.
Come here.
I want him to get that pair.
Well, the concern is I'm.
He
It's
doesn't want
delicious.
to eliminate another
There-
fruit. There.
Oh!
There it goes. It's 200. You don't want that garbage.
That's all right. That's still sad.
You can-
This
you
points, but nonetheless, moving on.
we'll in our minds add 200 points to the total.
So that disappeared because the score hadn't.
I'm not sure what exactly caused that, but if you eat too many dots and you're just close enough, it'll do that. It'll pop out. It'll literally hop out for like a second and then just disappear on you. I know that in Pac-Man, the same thing kind of happens with I had this problem when I was getting to the keys, and if I ran the board too fast, the second key wouldn't show up. And I'm trying to get a perfect game, so I'm like, what in the? And basically, I've come to the conclusion I have to slow down playing it. I have to actually play it.
All right, I'm gonna give it a whirl this time.
I'll make it quiet on the next game because.
Yeah, feel free.
All right.
Gotta get my
Due to the
bearings.
angle of the camera, we can't quite catch the bottom of the screen with the rotation.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
If I can have another kid, I'll go fix it.
Nah.
I did forgot to
All right,
save
here we
him one.
go.
No,
That's it. I'm out of lives. We're good.
Now you have one more life because you're second.
don't tell him.
Yeah. Hope nobody knows.
Guess who I'm throwing on the mic? It's none other than CEO of Free Play Arcade, Corey Hyden himself.
Hey guys,
How's
just
it going,
stopping
Corey?
by for lunch.
We talked
checking
about
this
you
out.
quite a lot without audio.
Yeah, so luckily no audio, so see.
There you go.
I would.
I was like trying to like adjust camera settings and stuff.
I'm still salty.
I didn't even know that
Lots
y'all
of good things.
If I knew you were using the cocktail, I would have had them cap it before we used it. But I think most of what we're seeing is like a interesting Christmas light reflection
Yeah, no,
and the
it's-
geometry of the curve. But it drives me crazy.
I can tell you, and we've already discussed this multiple times now. The controls are immaculate.
Oh yes, I do love the joystick right now. This is.
Well, that's really cool because we didn't do anything for
Well, I checked them out
Oh,
yesterday.
okay. You
so,
just made sure they were good.
yeah.
I mean, we do run generally on our packs the real stuff, and to be honest, this joystick on Miss Pac has to be probably the best made joystick of all time.
It endures.
That's really what made it last so well. Like they had these outside in like swimming pool, like outside underneath little cabanas at swimming pools when I was growing up, and they would still play pretty well. So that's probably why operators loved them so much. They were so easy. No buttons that really matter except for like your game start button.
The thing is, I love this game so much that like, it just doesn't matter the environment for me. Like I talked about doing it on a cruise not getting to do it on a cruise, but I did it in a resort in Mexico, and their machine was junk. If you wanna like frame it versus other Ms. Pac machines, but just getting to play Ms. Pac, still had the CRT monitor and had a joystick of some sort, and I'm good to go.
Well, I remember in an Embassy Suites in Corpus Christi.
I did not get a good score in
They-
the Mexican resort, by the way.
Well, Embassy Suites, they had a like an open air lobby, like Embassy Suites normally do, and they had an arcade in the lobby, and there was no gate or anything, but they closed at like 9 p.m. and it was like 8:55, and I was just about to beat the high score on the machine, which was seriously just like 150,000 or something. See, I came in here,
That is
and I
depressing.
distracted everyone.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I messed it up.
All right,
Oh,
Chris, you gotta bring it home.
wait, I can see
Goodness
both sides.
gracious. I just need to like get away from. Yeah, I'm out of here. I just don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me.
It's
All right, here we're going again.
2-player again.
Let's do this.
All
Let's do
right,
this.
2-player. Here we go.
I might have to bounce. Why not? We missed all the grouping talk in the beginning.
I'm cursed in Texas. I've had, especially here, I've never gotten a kill screen here. And the first time
That's
I came
true.
here, that was so irritating because I got everybody here watching. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And I think I died on the second game. I died on the like 132. I died one board away from the end, from all the craziness at the end. I was like, really?
Do you feel nervous? Because on my end, it's the opposite. I don't feel enough nerves to pay
I
attention.
don't feel nervous. And what's funny is I feel like I was moving well. I don't like every time something goes wrong. I'm like, it's just like bad choice. Usually it's a reverse that I'm not like. I guess I'm not keeping track of the count in my head. You know, for the time before they do another reverse. When it gets to the point where they stop changing, that time is. I'm slowing down because we're talking, so that reverse is almost always going to happen, and I'm not taking that into account. Usually when I'm running, I can get some boards done before that, and if I get them done before that, that is, that's about 30 seconds a board.
All right, we're going to go Captain Redundancy here because I'm watching this video later, and I want to learn how to group. So, the ghosts, they act differently, and what's your thoughts on how they act?
Oh, I'm sorry. My brother just texted me. I only saw the first part, but it says you brought embarrassment and shame on your family. Love you, Daryl. Love you.
Shout outs to Daryl.
Yeah, I'll respond later on in private. Oh man.
That's Miss Pac after hours.
Yeah, that's the joy of having a brother who's pretty good at the game too, although not as consistent. We can't all be going after the world record, I guess. Right, Daryl?
I mean, it's baby steps. Baby steps. You
Exactly.
gotta hit 2 mil on Galaga.
Baby
and
step,
then
yeah.
go from there.
He's working on it. Maybe one day I'll get him down here and we can
You'll
do this
get
with him
there.
on Galaga.
Well, yeah, no. Actually, Jagger's really good at that. So if he can come out here, we have a 17-year-old Jagger and show him how to hit 2 mil on Galaga.
See, so I can set a world record and Jagger's going to break it eventually. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we need him here. Jagger had family requirements. He's in town, but sadly he could not make it out, which is really unfortunate. He's been playing here since he was 13 or 12.
My brother just said I taught you everything I know. Yeah, sure, Daryl. Sure, we'll go with that.
Definitely that last game. Definitely that last game.
Yeah, exactly, the last game.
Speechless.
Live on YouTube as well. I am terribly sorry about that. XSplit is a program that works well.
It is a great program. That stability is at times good, and at some updates needs another update.
What I really like about XSplit is when it decides to keep all the settings that we've saved. If you're curious, audio is actually working right now.
That's good.
Yeah.
I checked before and after I went live.
Awesome.
Whereas before, I only checked before we went live and didn't check to find out that it had decided to have audio from HDMI input.
Fantastic. So ghosts act differently.
They do.
We got
Pass this back to Corey. Sorry about that.
Right. Let's see here.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna pull up the YouTube chat as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, Corey's joining us. So we'll play the
This is
AM something
like right here. I'm going to
game.
pull these around like this and bring them up like that. That's certain. Like there's certain patterns on certain boards that I tend to stick to get them closer because I know I can control them and get them. Like down here, that spot right there, I can bring some around here and bring the others up that way, and it will get them closer. Let's see what we got here. I should be able to just kick straight up, and they'll come together. Yep.
Yeah. I'm okay. Like this hunt has a lot of long, I don't know what you want to call them, hallways, tubes.
Yes.
There's not a lot of points where the ghost can change direction, so it's not terribly hard to group them just out of randomness.
It's not. I mean, a lot of times it's on this one, like.
Plus, you have the extra length of the power pill, so there's that too. A scrub like me can just sort of like wing it.
There we go.
All right, nice.
Hey, that worked well. And sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes like I go in certain directions and I think it can work and I'm just hoping and it may work and that the yellow guy might come around, and other times, oh, that's not gonna be good. Nope. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I'm waiting for my brother's text right now because I know he's gonna send something.
That's right. Let us hear from you, Daryl. Daryl, if you have a few minutes, you can come out here and be the player too on this.
He's in
really show
Lexington.
him up.
Yeah, Daryl, come on. He's in Columbus, Ohio. Come on, Daryl.
Just teleport over
It's
here.
a short drive.
It's a short drive. I mean, I drove down here. It's not that bad. what is that? About 15-hour drive. He's got that. He's got a Mustang, so really should only take him like 12.
So is the reason I noticed we're playing on the cocktail and not the upright that has the super pack. Were you avoiding? Because I think super pack has the where you get to like level 150 something and it restarts the game.
Well, no, that's the kill screen. That's the kill screen. That'll happen regardless.
Right. No, but does the normal? So I thought Super Miss Pac had the kill screen avoider, where like you get to like 150 something and it just starts you back at number 1. Is that true? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know what. So I guess why are we not playing on the Super Miss Pac?
Well, initially, because I did ask whether David we'd rather Super Miss Pac or the speed up chip,
This is just
and this one had the speed
standard
up chip.
Yeah.
Also, we were planning for Jagger to be here.
Right.
He's in the area. He was
yeah.
here. He won the kids tournament yesterday, and
Nice.
yeah, and so I talked to him about it. He was gung ho about it. He just had a family emergency, but the idea was he would be sitting in this seat.
Oh yeah, that would be really
taking lessons right from the master. I know he wants to. Believe me, I saw his face. His eyes lit up as big as saucer.
This is a really cool setup for like a Miss Pac stream because you get to sit, you get to chill.
Right.
Like it's like a true discussion too. It's really awesome.
I mean, I've only kill screened one. I've only played one serious game on a cocktail. It was in West Virginia. Owner had he had never had a kill screen on any of his games, and there was a gentleman who was actually getting really. I can't remember the gentleman who was getting close on Dig Dug, but he was like he was like in the 240 level range wise, so he was getting within getting close to getting it, and I saw his post. I was like, well, and I swung out and dropped in. I said, I'm gonna try to get you your first kill screen, and first game was a train wreck, kind of like today. And second game was on the cocktail. I sat down, and what was interesting was when I got done, he was standing behind me for a good chunk of the game. Come to find out, the plug that plugged the cocktail in was behind me, and it was on the wall, and it was sticking out off the wall a little bit. He was so afraid someone would trip over it. He stood there, and one of the other local good players, the guy who was really good at Dig Dug, his son was a really good player. And he basically, every time he had to go deal with a customer, he would ask him to just stand there to make sure it didn't get tripped. And it didn't, and I got everything. I missed a pretzel because he got done. He said, "How was your game?" I said, "It was okay." And he goes, "It was just okay." I was like, "Yeah, I missed a pretzel." And that's just my mind thinking, like, it's like if I miss something, I mean, I'm still thinking about it, because it's
that pretzel.
The
pretzel that got away.
The pretzel that wasn't to be.
Salty sweetness.
But I ended up playing that game and kill screening it, and then I kill screened his upright right after that. And the guy who held the record, he wrote on Facebook. He was like, "Oh, if I'd known, I would have skipped work." And I'm like, "Whoa, let's not skip work. Let's." And so I've been talking to my brother because I want to get back to. There's so many good arcades I go to, and I get to meet a lot of I mean, most people who own a really good arcade, and take care, especially if it's their personal collection, or they have a good passion for the games. There's just a better culture, a better mindset. The arcades are always just a little nicer, a little more relaxing to play in. It feels like a classic arcade, and I want to go back to so many of them, but they are, some of these are long drives, and so I was like for this trip.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, for this trip, I can.
You need a place to stay? I got you.
Yeah. Actually, stayed at a nice hotel last night.
Well, okay, nice hotel might be better than my guest room, but
I'm not even sure what I'm doing tomorrow. Like this whole trip has been. I literally decide the night before. Like I get up in the morning.
Do you know what you're doing on New Year's?
Right now, I'm nothing.
I mean, if you're hanging around, we got a New Year's party.
We will have an insane New Year's party here.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the other free plays too. It's pretty awesome. It's a really cool night because it's like, especially here, it's a ton of like hardcore gamers and hardcore it's that group that they love good parties and good games that show up.
Got it.
There it is.
That's
your doctor right there.
I know
that's
that
your
one.
master's thesis.
There's the PhD right there. How not to die on the last dot. But no, I just, the gentleman out in West Virginia, I tell them all I want to come back, and then it's been probably several years. I'm like, I need to get back there. Plus, the Galaga score wasn't that great. I don't think it was respectable. And my brother, I think I told him, and he's like, I think I can get that. So he wants to go back out there to beat that score. So all I have to do is drive up to Columbus. He'll drive. I mean, like I said, he's got a Mustang, and he knows how to drive his Mustang. He is. Oh yeah, I bought a sports car back in college. I probably shouldn't have, but I can't lie. I bought a 300Z back in 2000, and he loved his Nissan Zs. And I bought one just because of him, but I only drive an automatic. He had to find me one, and he drove in to find it. He said, "You got to buy it." I'm like, "Okay." And I love that car. Could not afford to take care of it, but I love that car. And so anytime he can drive, I'm like, yeah, "Let's do that." So Daryl, you can always drive if you're listening. You
Hey,
can always do the driving.
Yeah, it's a team now.
Exactly, but I mean,
You do the talented video gaming parts, he drives.
But that's the other thing. He's really good at a lot of games. Like that's what kills. Like I'm good. I'm great at one game, and he's really good at a lot of games. And that's something about him that I've for all of our joking aside, it's like I'm great at one game, and I suck at just about every other game in here. I mean, it's like if you want to beat me, just pick a game, point your finger, you'll probably get it. And
No, Beltran, it can't be Pac-Land.
Right.
Pick a
Yeah,
real
that
game.
just looks wrong.
Pick
anyway.
a real game.
That just looks wrong anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an illegitimate cousin of Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man.
There's
is
a
what it looks
number
like.
of those, yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't even know the Pac-Land's the worst of them.
Yeah, Midway got a little aggressive.
It's like, let's see if we. It's like that third movie like the third or fourth movie in a series. You know, it's never. No, you should have stopped.
Yeah. We don't need to hear about the adventures of Kylo Pac-Man. Although if you're a Baby Yoda fan, Baby Pac is right over there.
I have played Junior Pac-Man a little bit. They had a Turbo Pac-Man at up in Chicago, and the world record holder, was actually up there. His world record at the time was only about $500,000. His house high was $1.2 million. He didn't record it.
Right.
So it's like, oh.
Well, sometimes you don't know.
So but his record was broken by, I think the gentleman holds the original speed, and it's like, gosh, I want to say it's like 2.9 million or something. I mean, he just shattered it, and the guy who did this is, but there's still some points to score because the game can get about 4 million.
Right.
So, and I played it for a few minutes. I'm like, I kind of played. The ghosts play a lot more like Miss Pac-Man, so I feel like I can control them, and so I was like, So I've kind of thought about going after that one, but like I'd have to really dive into that game because you got to get everything to me. You got to get all the ghosts. You can't let anything slide.
See, I think if it's a good idea. This is my recommendation to you, and you've already thought about this anyway. Just do the Lonnie McDonald Joustmaster tact of
The
hitting
World Tour, yeah.
The World Tour. Hit everywhere. If kill screening is your thing, kill screen every Ms. Pac you can find out there, and there are so many more than there are jousts.
That is true.
Insist that they be to your specs, so that the arcade operators will have all the sped up Ms. Pac-Mans out there. But yeah, just hit them all. And if you're interested, Lonnie McDonald, and you're in the chat, Lonnie McDonald is I want to say joustmaster.com is his site.
I've seen his name because obviously a lot of times when there's a high scoreboard, his name is. I'm like.
Yeah, because it hits every arcade in the world that has joust.
But he's talking retirement now. He's talking stopping at 300, right?
I think that was the number.
What's he up to right now?
I had to check
Is
it
it like
in chat.
228 or something?
He's got a date in mind that he wants to end the run, and a location, and there's a reason I would know.
Well, it's really,
I'll tell you that.
it's really cool though because he started out when there were not that many jousts available, right? He was going to people's garages and stuff, and then all of a sudden, jousts started popping up everywhere.
Yeah, he hit every joust that was known, right? Because as David was talking earlier, I don't know if this made the chat, but like he would search the internet for places to play.
Oh yeah.
So he would find all the ones that were publicly known, but then more would crop up, and some.
Well, Harrigan.
And he's helped bring it back to popularity too. If you get a actual unique copy, like a new copy that he hasn't been to, he's coming to your town.
Well,
that's the trick to getting Lonnie out.
I want to say, where is the where I went yesterday?
Game Preserve. Right?
The Flux, where I went.
Okay.
Actually, no, I went there on Friday. Oh no, I'm sorry, on Saturday. Wow, my days are just. I went.
No, I feel you.
I'm just like, what day is it?
Especially this time of year.
Well, I work third shift also, so I literally don't have days and nights. I just have nights, and that's it. But is that? Yeah, there's. They're down in the place called the Flux in Harrigan, I think it is. Heringeen. And they have a joust. And I told them they should contact him because I mean I know he's probably not going to know about it unless they contact him.
Yeah, it depends. Like the thing is, it has to be like legit too. Like so, it can't be an emulator machine.
I want to say theirs was legit, but you know.
You never know. Well, I never know.
Well,
That's not true. Sometimes I definitely know it's an emulator.
Well, with Williams, there's such a good emulator in the J-Rock, and then there's such bad emulators in the other ones that it's kind of like sometimes it can be an emulator. And I mean, J-Rock they say it's not an emulator too because it's like code injection through original chips. So it's really like there's plenty of like Williams fans that say it doesn't count, but most of the places that are emulating aren't really using those because they're hard to find, they're expensive. So,
well, I know the 60-1.
Oh gosh!
If I play the 60-1,
Pass.
I can tell you it's a 60-1. Like if you play the game and you get to where the ghosts stop changing, I can tell you it's a 60-1 because of certain things. I can start a pattern, a very long, lengthy pattern, and I can get pretty far along in the board, and I know exactly what it is, and it's there you go, and. But for the most part, it does play correct. You know, 61s are good for people who want to just.
It lets you learn like mid-level play things.
I thought about getting one just because, like,
I had one. Like I got the King and Balloon world record for a challenge here, and I used a 60-1 that I had won at Let's Play Game Expo to practice sort of on the side.
Yeah.
And it helped me with like techniques, like the scoring system worked the same, right? But ultimately, like it's a lot different. So. It helped me enough, like, because that record is very, very low, like just.
Right. If anyone ever took it
low.
seriously, it'd be really cool to see how high it went on King and Balloon.
Right.
Because that's a pretty obscure game in
yes.
a 16-1.
Well, I told him about the arcade up in Dayton I played at. They had a kit put on their Miss Pac-Man. Apparently, it was a original Miss Pac-Man, but they had a kit put on, which gave a high score. And
like a save?
Yep, like a save,
wow.
top 10 specifically. And it got rid of the kill screen. So
wow.
So David Race held the score up there, and he's a perfect Pac-Man. He's a good player. His best is on YouTube for Mrs. Pac-Man. It's 899,000, and I saw this post because I saw the place has been open like a month, but they put a post up, and I saw that, and I sent my brother. I said, he lives in Columbus, Ohio. I live in Louisville. Dayton is real close for both of us. So I was like, you want to get together and meet and go after this? And so. We met up there, and the high score he had was 1.1 million. And my last game I played was 3 hours long, and basically I got to 1.48 million and finally died. My eyes were killing me when I started playing, so I just I have to beat that high score. And the place only been a month. It was actually pretty cool to be able to play for 3 hours.
Right.
That's something.
Was it like a special auxiliary board or something?
I'm not sure what he did. He said the guy sells these kits. I guess I don't know if he changed. I don't know. Like I have very little technical aspect when it comes to any arcade game.
And I mean, Miss Pac has had a ton of stuff come out for it. I mean, you can find ads back from like '89 where there's like a whole list of different modifications for Miss Pac because they're so popular and people were trying to figure out some way to keep gamers playing them. So they did all sorts of really cool stuff.
Yeah, but it was interesting because when you hit 256, when you hit I was wondering if there'd be a split screen. I was wondering what would happen.
Did it just restart?
It went back to board one, and it starts with a cherry. The ghosts are still at their faster permanent speed because they obviously on the Apple board they speed up, and it was just weird because I'm like it looked like this board on the other color. It looked like that board, so I looked at my brother. I was like, "Oh no!" My brother's like, "Oh, it didn't change. You just kept on going." And then I go, "No, that's the first board. We just started over, and it starts over. Yeah, the intermissions and everything. I think I did about 270 boards for. I was like, if I hit 1.5 million, I'm gonna kill myself and go on to my fourth guy.
Yeah, different games without kill screens react differently. So
it was very weird. I do want to go up there and just take a shot at it eventually, just see what I could do for fun because I've never done a game like that. And it's kind of interesting just to test what I can handle because you still only get 4 lives. There's no extra lives.
Right.
But I may do it one more time and then have a big game and then just never. I mean, the arcade was nice. Maybe I'll try some other games.
Oh, but I was giving you my suggestion, which is to
Oh.
do the world tour thing.
I
But also, you need to program it around your sports fantasy trips. So that's the key.
Yeah, if
my
you
volleyball.
get 2
Right.
great trips in a row at the same time,
Yeah.
that's the dream right there.
No, you're following around whatever team you want or whatever like sports schedule you want to do.
I originally wanted to try to kill screen not just as many Miss Pac-Mans, but like every Miss Pac-Man. Like I went to that arcade in West Virginia. They had 3 of them.
That's gonna take your entire life and maybe like the next generation.
Well,
too.
maybe
There's
not
a lot
every
of them.
single one, but everyone I can find at least at an arcade.
I'm sorry, Joust you can hit because that's 300 or so. Actually, it's been an expanding number, but who knows how many original Ms. Packs there are?
Oh,
A lot.
and even if I'll have. I mean, for crying out loud, I'll do even the anniversary ones. I don't care. They're I've kill screened them too, and but. It's just everyone I can find. I bought a camera. I was gonna start recording my games and post them on YouTube, and then I kind of just was like,
You can come here for that. We got you.
There we go.
So I've been to Kentucky exactly twice, and
I'm
the first
sorry.
time,
We're adding that to your bragging montage, by the way.
clearly,
Clip that.
I've been to Kentucky.
Was it for the
exactly twice.
Derby? I'm curious. Was it for the Derby?
Both time, once it was for the Appalachian Trail,
Okay.
and once it was for I was just going through there on my way to Columbus for a fighting game tournament.
Yep.
And that was in late October, and I must say that Kentucky has possibly the best foliage I've ever seen
Yes.
in that time of year.
Yes.
And it was amazing. It was just
Can-
oranges and purples and reds, and it was just fantastic.
I have driven out to Paducah, Kentucky, way in the west side of Kentucky, and it was just middle of nowhere, and I'm expecting a boring trip, and it was fall time, and I don't travel enough, I guess, in my own state, and I was just like in awe of just how beautiful it can be, and there's just a lot of good. It's easy on the eyes to drive through Kentucky. I will say we have to. I obviously asked about the Derby. What's funny is most times when the Derby happens, I leave town because it's the best day not to be in Louisville.
I would wager that's very true.
And I used to travel. I would go find open gym volleyballs just to get out. I was like, "What'd you come here for?" I was like, "I came here to get out of my city." Because it's just inundated with all these people. And the Derby, what's funny is we had the Oaks, which was for the locals originally. You had the infield, which was just sort of at the Derby originally, the infield was the party. It was everyone getting drunk. There's videos of people running on top of like 20 porta pots, just why not? With people throwing full beer cans at them. Because that's how I guess we roll in Kentucky. I don't know. And
Sometimes here too.
Oh, and they would always show this. Well, the infield has slowly become more for like tents and more of a higher scale item. So the Derby's kind of become, for people with a little more wealth and a little more class. And so we went to Oaks. Oaks became kind of the locals' day. Well, then the Oaks kind of got pushed out. Now we have Thurby, what's called Thurby on Thursday for the locals.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they just had to make something up to give it to us, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man.
Good times.
When you're trapping the ghosts in the bottom left to group them, is there a chance that they will turn around randomly?
After the first one, I think it's like I've been told like 16 minutes before they'll do it again. So
Okay.
if they're rolling through there, you have a little bit of window to let them sit there. If you need a break, that's the best chance, I guess. Now the catch is if the red guy is going fast, you have pretty much no chance because once he gets past the other guys, they're going to come. Well, the blue guy will come after you. So
Okay.
usually I use that because by the time I get down to the bottom, the red guy's going faster. And I do this because it's just easier to group and have him catch up down there.
I really love the personalities of the 4 ghosts and how they interact with each other.
I mean, the red one just comes right at you. Ain't no, and the other one's like the blue one. I actually think from what I've been told, I think he's trying to get ahead of you, and the yellow one's just crazy. I don't know what else to say. The yellow one is the stepchild no one remembers.
He'll look right at you and turn the other way.
Yeah.
Like he's doing what he's doing. I feel like he's just like a randomish like movement on the board. Like
Somebody said he's like an homage to Pac-Man is what they originally said, something like that. The pink one, I think, kind of comes at you. The yellow is on my brother. The yellow's on meth, apparently, my brother said. That might be accurate, Daryl. That might be accurate.
Which one do you think is the most dangerous of the ghosts?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one because I want to say actually either the yellow one or I think the yellow one can be the most dangerous because sometimes you don't quite know what he's going to do sometimes. And you plan for the other three because you can really easily control them, but the yellow one can just do crazy stuff. and the worst is you just sit there and you know you're about to die. Like there's no, oh, gee, I'll just move out of it. No, you just sit there. There are times when I'm just like, I'm trapped. I just sit there and wait to die because it's like, I can sit here and jostle the joystick and hope for a miracle, but it ain't going to happen. So it's just, I sometimes feel like that's the danger one because you just forget sometimes that he's not following in line like the rest of them.
So all this talk about Ms. Pac-Man has me wanting pizza. All right,
I respect that.
We got margarita, garlic cheese, pepperoni and sausage, and barbecue pulled pork.
Did you just say a margarita pizza?
Margarita, that's fresh mozzarella, tomato, basil, garlic, olive oil.
I was like, man, if you made a margarita pizza.
Not
right?
quite what it sounds at the
Oh,
bar.
man, I know a lot of people who would like that in Louisville.
What am I getting and splitting with you, David?
I'm a simpleton. I like meats and I like cheeses.
Pepperoni sausage sound good?
That'd be fine.
All right, I'll be back.
All right.
Carry the show, Arthur. It's you.
Oh, no.
Also, David, don't die. I gotta get pizza.
Oh, no pressure.
So, for viewers at home, we are playing on a Miss Pac-Man cocktail table today, and you can actually see the Christmas lights that we still have strung up in the air as a reflection.
Very festival. Very festive.
Miss Pac-Man predates JAMA, so I do not have the capability of getting direct video feed, and that's why we're using the web camera to capture the footage today. We have two Miss Pac-Mans here at Free Play Arcade. The other one is a stand-up, and David here elected to use the cocktail table, which is perfectly acceptable and fine with me. In fact, a little bit simpler from my perspective, but, you know, we have, I think, a pretty nice setup for the stream today.
Let's say I played the stand-up last time I was here. For the tournament, and it's nice. I have yet to find an issue with any game in here. So.
We have full-time techs on hand at Free Play to try to keep that exact sentiment be true.
Well, that's a challenge because I think it was Galloping Ghost. One of the biggest complaints I've read online is that a lot of games just don't work, and I'm like, they have like 700 games.
Yeah, they have like literally everything, and they don't work.
And I'm like, if you have that many games, you got to have a lot of text to make sure nothing's breaking. Because I mean, good heavens, that's just insane to me. I do want to get up there, but I'm like,
so do I. I've never been, and it's the place that I want to go. You know, lately
I feel like I might. I'm afraid. I'm hoping it's really nice. It's not as bad as people say, because I really don't want it to be. I really don't want to find out like it's got major issues, but I feel like it will be okay.
I would wager that Miss Pac-Man of all games is going to work well.
It's a simple game. I hope they keep that one going good.
And it's an important game for an arcade.
Well, what
you
I've
gotta
been
have
told
your Miss
is
Pac-Man
like,
work, and they'll probably have more than one too.
Well, what I've been told, and I bet they don't actually, because
Really?
they have the slow version and the fast version. From what I've been told, you flip a switch,
Oh.
and they're in the same cabinet. And
Oh,
that's how
no.
but that's how a lot of the cabinets are. They have the cabinets have multiple original
boards in,
hardware
yeah.
in there, and that's kind of how they do it to make sure they can have that many. Because I've seen pictures; it's very cramped from what I kind of tell. But I mean, that being said, if you can't find something you like, I'd be kind of shocked. There was the kid last night at the our Saturday night, excuse me, at Game Preserve. It was his first time at the arcade, and he's like, "Is there any game in here? Is there any games in here I might like?" I was like, "I don't know. Hit start. Just go hit start, because you know what? I mean, the Game Preserve had like 150 games. Like just hit start."
That's the beauty of this model, of the free play model, is you can experiment and play the games. I'll come here, like I come here initially hoping they had a Miss Pac-Man that I could play, but then there's 100 other games, and you know, some of these games I've never versus Ice Climber. I've never even seen that. Like I know Ice Climber was an NES game, but I didn't know there was a versus Ice Climber. Goalie Ghosts. That's a thing. Apparently is. It's kind of reminds me of Discs of Tron, which I did know was a thing and is in one of the free plays. But like,
up
you
the
try it.
Underground Retrocade, when I went up there, normally when I would go to arcades, I would just kind of, get my high score and kind of leave or whatever, or just play, check it out. And I paid my 15. It's like $15 to get in up there, and they have a lot of good games. It's a nice arcade, well kept by the owner. And when I got done playing, of course, I spent $15 to get in, so I really wasn't gonna. I was gonna take another shot anyway, but I really didn't want to take it right away. So I just started walking around. It had been so many, because every time I play Miss Pac-Man, I'm actually, I'm playing someplace that only, like, I'm playing a laundromat, or I'm playing someplace like a bar that only has that. So I'm not playing. There's no other options. Well, it's been so long since I actually had the time to go through and enjoy other games, and I was like, oh yeah, there's other games in the arcade, and it was so much fun just to kind of play other games and just try them out, because part of the reason I'm so good at this game is just because it's all I had.
Right.
And it was just nice to go to a place where, it's just like there's other games like mine, but then there's all these, and then I'm looking. He had a top 10 list on every game in his arcade.
We've got it as well. Oh, I can look at our high scoreboard. It's something like 600 different games.
But that's on each game a top 10 list. So as I'm going up the ladder, I'm just watching it, and like he had some, like, Lonnie McDonald had been there, Nibblers, Tim McVeigh had been there. It was, he had a good list of who's who, but it was just go. It was just nice because I never stopped to play other games, because I was like, I'm always in a hurry, and I'm like, I had all day, and I was just loving it. I was like, oh my gosh, finally get to play some other games. What am I doing here? Maybe I should keep my hand on the joystick so I can actually play.
Yes, because I'm not looking. But I'm still counting this as I was part of a kill screen game. Right now I'm trying to look up how many different games we have the scores of in Free Play Arcade. Just way too many, way more than I bargained for when I made a high score
I have
list.
seen that high score list. That thing is insane. I was like, it's impressive because it's impressive because of the number of games on there.
Yeah, but there was only, like, when I started the list, there was less than 100 games.
Well, that's the risk you take when you keep a high score list.
Man alive.
Well, I will say the arcade, the Underground Retrocade has an online list. The Game Preserve's part of it. It's arcade.com, AURCADE.
Yeah, arcade.
And I wish more arcades could get on that. I'm not 100% sure how they get on there. I think I asked the owner, and it's like there's a process. And I know a lot of arcade owners who are very, like, they have high scores, and they're very, they take them seriously. They don't just let anybody just say, I got this. They have to kind of be there to see it. And to me, that's the best way. Like, if I could get a world record, I would want to get it in an arcade, not at home. I would, if I have to buy it first.
Yeah, I find much more, like, substance to doing it in public, like this. Like, I think that's so cool. You can have the media. When Lauren Featherstone hit the Tapper World record, we had the media out. It was live in arcade. A crowd grew around. Like, when she breaks the whatever it was, 13 million. Everybody, like, burst into applause. 24 and a half hours.
Yeah, I'm good with my 2.5 hour. I'm good with my 2-hour game here.
That's what I'm saying. You stick with the kill screen, man. Like,
Kill screen game world records, I think, are much more entertaining than endurance, which we've talked about already. One of the more interesting kill screens that I saw was the Burger Time kill screen. It's not exactly a kill screen; it just it mostly stops time.
It'll make you wish there was a kill screen.
I've seen how that game works, and that is they slow all the enemies to slow down.
Yeah, there's an overflow as they get faster until they mostly stop, and then it's like one game state every 30 seconds.
Ugh. What a beatdown. And
yeah.
Matt DeMoss, for one of our charity streams, Matt went for the world record, and he got the second greatest score of all time. He didn't get there, and we were doing the math. Austin Smith was one of our regulars, was helping him keep track, and he was doing the math. He took a bathroom break, and Matt got himself into a tough situation, and he ended up using too many peppers, and that's the resource in the game that matters, not your lives, but the peppers. So he thought he could get out of a situation using a couple extra peppers. He used a couple too many, and they knew he couldn't break the world record, and he still played for another 18 hours.
Yeah.
That's
kind of heartbreaking.
Well,
you talk about worrying about missing a pretzel when it's that kind of, like, tedium. Ugh. And it's just it's all super slow. It's crazy.
I saw the speed of that. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm quite good with this game.
Currently, my high score list, or the free play arcade high score list, has 582 games, ending in Zookeeper. Congratulations, Jason Palmer.
Zookeeper is pretty fun.
Yeah, I need to add a few on there though. So
Gotta
Lunar
keep
Rescue isn't
Got to
bad.
keep it complete.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
It
We
just
actually had
occurred
to,
to me.
we had to make a ruling on more modern games, particularly raw thrills games. They tend to like as a trick to get you to keep playing to add a bazillion high scores. So every level has a high score, every difficulty has a high score. The full game, every possible like checkpoint is its own high score list. And it will mean that your game like might be responsible for the most world records. Like the most world records are held on this game, right? But that's because there's
8 million world records.
right. Well, there's 300 different lists in the arcade machine. So we had to make a ruling like if it's one of those games, and it just we take one particular track and that's it. We're not interested in the rest because I could literally have one game of I don't know, Target Terror be bigger than the entire rest of the high score list combined. And I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Don't care. Really don't care.
Gotta draw a limit somewhere.
You know what? I'll just play Area 51. How about we call it that?
At
Good
some
game.
point, I
Good
should
game.
probably take a picture of my Street Fighter 4 score because I don't think that's on there.
Yeah, bring it. Score.
Yeah.
Score we can judge. We had to win streak, not so much. Although we'll just call it. Actually,
No, that's Jeremy's.
Jeremy Withers.
That's
Jeremy
Jeremy's.
Withers at 100. We can go ahead and post that. Now that we have it reset to where you can only get 10 wins.
I thought about showing up to beat him at the 99th win and decided, no, I'm going to continue having my day off.
Right. Yeah, so that one, Winston at 6 or 7 years old has the grandfathered in Mortal Kombat 2 win streak record at like 104 games.
How did...
He did it. No, he did it on one of these days.
Was it
where we
MK2
open
Plus
early.
or MK2
No,
normal?
MK2.
Okay.
And
Was he using Scorpion?
I mean, it was. You can change a character in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So he's here early on a Saturday when we open early at 11 a.m. and he's just rolling through birthday parties. Basically, that's it.
Go Winston.
He's 6 years old. He's insisting that that everybody does a fatality, but it's only him that's winning. So he's just killing everybody. It's fantastic. What a treasure.
That's the way to do it.
So that high score is grandfathered in. You can't break the high score, but it's staying on the list.
He is fascinated with all the cheat codes and secrets of a lot of the American-style fighting games in the 90s. And he'll show up with printouts from GameFAQs just to see all the crazy things he can do.
Yeah, made from 1995 or whenever the FAQ was made.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily the right version compared to what we have. And it's always fun to watch him try to figure stuff out.
We have a lot of kid players, so Jagger
Definitely.
Jagger couldn't make it here. We have kids Super Turbo tournaments on Sundays, every Sunday at 2.
I always do see the post on that. Usually Matt's holding up the
Very
the belt.
frequently.
Yes, he seems to be very solid at the games.
I'd wager my last dollar that if Winston decided to like Street Fighter 2, he would only play Akuma.
Yeah, because he could. Well, no, any of the O characters he could access via code.
You're right.
Yeah.
He actually has 17 characters he could pick.
So he's going to be an Osagat main. What do you think about that?
I think he's an this character now. Now this character.
That's a good point. Just pick a different O character just to demonstrate that he knows the code.
I know the code too. Down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down,
Right,
right,
you
up,
can
left,
mash
punch,
out
punch,
every
punch,
code
punch,
in that
punch.
game.
Oh no, I should not have tapped the
Mash
screen.
out every single one of them. But yeah, with lots of kid players, there's a lot of them in the building right now, experimenting with different games, and it's fun to see the new generation take to arcade games, like real arcade games.
I love the fact that, with all the games we have today and how high tech they are, a simple old game can still be a lot of fun. And
Well, it's the simple part that matters. Like it's simple fun, and the complexity sometimes takes away from it.
but like this game, if
Yeah.
you're a kid, you beat the first board, you still did something special. You beat the first board, and
Yeah.
that's something you get the victory of sort of each board individually, and that's something I think that helps with this game is that even if you're not getting to the end you're still, and then you see your score, and then as you get older, you might just want to get better. I mean, that's all I did. I was 13 playing at a Namco arcade in the mall.
Which arcade was it? Tilt?
No, it was just a Namco. It was actually a Namco
Oh,
arcade.
wow.
Yeah, I'm 40, so I'm I'm old. But yeah, I would just go there, and the only reason I played this game was because I can get 5 minutes off of it, and I couldn't break 100,000 back then, and you know, there you go. And
That was me too. I get like one shiny quarter a week to go to the arcade with. I had to make it count.
I mean, it was
Ninja Turtles was not going to get that quarter.
Oh
Sorry.
God, no! I mean, that game you had to feed the snot out of it. And then what was it? Was it Gauntlet? Was the game 4-player?
Oh, Gauntlet,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man,
It's literally killing. By the way, you can play it over there if you want it. If you want to play it and actually play for a few minutes,
Gauntlet
without
2.
having instantly take away your quarter. But yeah, but all the gauntlets have a continually like draining life. So it just being there basically had a timer on it.
I feel like Gauntlet is one of the worst games for free play mode because you show up at any point in time, you see everyone just mashed the start button to give themselves 5,000 life.
Right. Any beat 'em ups sort of fall in that category as
Yeah.
well. Hey, we got our pizza.
I would let it cool for a couple of
I'm
moments.
probably not going to eat it while I'm playing though, just because.
Sensible.
That's fine. I will eat it all.
You're looking like you could use a little meat on the bones there.
I mean, I've put a lot of effort into this game of Miss Pac-Man, as you can see by my score.
You have been sitting there for some time, so that must be true.
I used to be a runner in college, and I weighed like 115 pounds. I was skinny as can be, and as I got older, I gained a little weight because I stopped running, and I play volleyball now because I've always said it's easier to be a fat, out-of-shape volleyball player than it is to be a fat, out-of-shape runner.
It seems like it's impossible to be a fat, out-of-shape runner.
You would be surprised. You
Oh,
would be
man.
surprised. My brother's actually a really good runner in high school, and
Poor Daryl.
no, he just
take
said.
it in.
Oh no! Like there's a Clydesdale division where you have to be 200 pounds, and he won that division several races because he was 200. But he was, I mean, even in high school, he was a big guy. You know, he weighed about 145, 150, but he finished third in the state. He was like fifth when you combined all the divisions together. He was a phenomenal. He ran for the University of Louisville, but not under their current coach. He wasn't. Like, they have some really good runners now. He was a decent college runner. He actually, when he was at UK, just running at UK, he would run with the team. And, like, he was nowhere near the rest of the team runners, but he would just run, and he was awesome like that. But, yeah, he would win the Clydesdale division. My favorite is he won a Krispy Kreme challenge down in Alabama.
That sounds like an intriguing race.
Do tell.
So the Krispy Kreme challenge originally started in North Carolina in NC State. And basically you run, I think it's up to a 5-mile race now, but you run half the race, eat a dozen donuts, and then you run the second half of the race.
If you throw up, are you disqualified?
As far as I know, you should be, but I think it's more they kind of let it go because it's more. It's
Out
like,
of this monstrosity.
Yeah, he ran that one. He also I went to one in Lexington, and he ran the key to this. If you're ever going to do one of these, the key is to carry a bottle of water with you because the bread dries your mouth out and makes it impossible to chew and swallow. So that's the key to eating a dozen donuts real fast. And down in Lexington, he got second or third down there, and he went to one in Alabama and won. But yeah, it's one of the more interesting races to watch. The best part was, I'm sorry, Joe just texted him. He got second. I guess he doesn't want to be put any further down. In the one in Lexington, he got done, and of course I'm there with his girlfriend. We're watching. It's interesting to watch, and he gets done. He starts eating more donuts. He had like 2 or 3 more donuts.
I mean, they're delicious, right?
Oh, they're awesome and they're really good. And what's funny is the guy who got to the donut area first was a really good runner. Was in good shape, and he was like almost dead last in the donut eating because he couldn't eat the donuts fast enough. And it was so funny. It's like just because you can run fast doesn't mean much. He got there like third and got finished second. So he managed to do both very well. But that's one thing in our family we know how to do well. We know how to eat in our family. But
excellent.
Are we through with all the acts?
Oh yeah, we're just running now. Just running now.
No real time for a piece of pizza then.
No, not
or
really.
for me. Ah ha ha.
Well, hopefully I'll give you plenty of time.
Oh yeah, no,
You
no,
don't-
no, I'm good. Yeah, just all this Miss Pac-Man. I just had to do it. I normally don't get pizza here. Give me a quick sandwich. And,
Well, the first time I came here, I made a huge mistake because I went to the quarter lounge first. Not that that was the mistake. It's a nice arcade.
yeah, it's nice arcade.
But I
like
set
Tim
the
up
high
there.
score there. Had an immaculate game. And on the way in, I was staying in a hotel about an hour west of Arkansas, Little Rock. So I was, my stuff was there. That's why I had to leave because people were asking like, "Oh, we can get you a hotel. We can find you a hotel, cheap one nearby and get you a deal." And I was like, "I have to go. My stuff is 3 hours away, and I really want to change." Otherwise, I probably would have stayed another. If I had gotten the same hotel I got today, which was like 10 minutes away, I would have just stayed there. But
The offer is legit. Like, you can have my guest room if you give me some warning.
well, I'm not sure where I'm going tonight. I may be here tomorrow night. I'm still debating because there's a couple arcades that piqued my interest, but every town in Texas is like 4 or 5 hours away. It seems like on the short side.
Yeah.
True.
I've never driven.
Well,
long-
honestly, if you want to take the free play tour, like, we have four locations. So
to do that.
Here's a fun one, though. El Paso is closer to San Diego than it is to Houston.
El Paso. I saw there's a couple of arcades in El Paso, and I didn't know where every city was, and I pulled up a map. I go, nope, all those, just mark them out. Nope, nope, nope.
that is not a fun drive either. It's not a. Well, maybe if you have your brother's sports car, is the brother with the Mustang.
He has driven that drive when he was younger to visit a friend who went to college in Arizona.
I mean, if you're fearless and you just want to floor it,
No, I've already discussed this with him. I was like, I don't want to make that trip because he said he saw a sign. It was like El Paso, 600 miles. I'm like, nope.
yeah, and that's like the next exit.
Well, when I left Houston to go down toward the border, there was a sign that said no services for 60 miles. And the first thing I do is look down, like, how many more miles do I have on this tank of gas?
They ain't
Okay,
joking.
Yeah.
I'm
They ain't
good.
joking.
I'm good. Okay, I'm like, wow, I've never seen a sign like that. I'm like,
It's
It's-
terrifying.
Yeah, it's a true thing. Like, and you're just worried when you see those kind of signs. Do I have enough gas?
Yeah, I've
Half a tank. I'll fill up now, thanks.
my last trip to what's that region called with the mountains out there?
West Texas?
Yeah,
Big
West
Bend?
Texas. Yeah, the Big Bend area. My last trip there. We hit the red warning light on the gas, and I looked up. I passed an exit, and it said next exit 47 miles, and I was like, oh my God,
reverse.
we're all gonna die. Yes, no, I pulled a Yui on the interstate because I didn't want to die.
Yep.
Interstate being.
And we had to look it up.
Couple
But thank goodness we had like internet. I don't even want to think about this problem if I don't like
Have a cell phone?
a cell phone
Yeah.
with reception that I can look up where the nearest gas station is. And we found it, and it was like this was jank too. Like it was like a pump that had an automated credit card thing. Not like you go to a self-serve service station. No, this is like a convenience store with a very rudimentary looking pump that like technically could handle a credit card, maybe, hopefully. Thank God it did. Like that was it, because otherwise I'd still be there. Yeah, driving far out in the El Paso way is an adventure at times. It's an adventure with no scenery.
One of the nice things about it, though, until you're about 100 miles from the city or so, yes, there's a speed limit, but
No,
it's really
yeah.
not enforced.
You can see 100 miles. I'm not even kidding. You can see 100.
Yeah.
Like crystal clear. Everything is absolutely flat. There's nothing on either side of the road. If there was, you wouldn't be able to see 100 miles. Like you can see, it's like there's nothing that's going to jump out at you. You can see traffic from that far away, and yeah, you could potentially just floor it and not have to worry about somebody tracking your speed because you would see them so far away.
Me and David Butler in 2005 were driving
Oh,
that
man.
way to Las
Actually
Vegas.
outing poor Fasty McNasty. Go ahead. Please continue.
Fast and nasty for a reason. We drove fast, and whoever was in the side seat, the passenger seat, had binoculars.
That's
just
the
to
way
make
to do
sure.
it. That is the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, you are a co-pilot. You better earn that title.
Yeah, you best not get us pulled over in West Texas because I don't even. If they catch you, good luck. Good luck going back there and fighting that ticket. So you got it for going 185 in a 45. Okay.
I think 120 was the fastest that we were willing to go.
All right, we're taking Fasty McNasty's name away.
The fastest I ever got my car up to my Z was about 127, and it was I had a trip to make from Lexington to Richmond, Kentucky, where Eastern Kentucky University is, and you came around this curve and you went over a bridge, and on the curve I could get up to 100, just come around and you could see there's no place for a cop to sit. So every day I just floor it, and it was downhill, so it helped a little, but 127 all the time. I was like, oh yeah, that feels right. My brother had the turbo, I did not, so every once in a while we'd be driving around and he would just toy with me, like a cat with a mouse. He would just let me get ahead, and he'd be like, oh, that's nice. he knew how to drive. He knew how to drive a car with that kind of power.
Well, my Yaris is not going to speed even if I wanted to, so that does that.
I will say when I rent
the rental car that I took to West Texas, let's not talk about that.
I will say when I rent my cars, I rent for come here. I save the mileage on my cars, and I'm usually asking for. I have a Hyundai Elantra 2005 at home, but I ask for it now when I rent because they get like 37, close to 38 miles to the gallon. I'm like, yes, I want that. I want as many miles to the gallon as I can get. Chris is enjoying his pizza right now.
It's not a Miss Pac-Man improved dinner. I should have got the fruit and cheese plate. But no, I don't know. But pizza and Miss Pac go together with me.
You can't go wrong with pizza, Miss Pac.
Like I could rack up the bonus points while we should do that instead of the calorie counters on the menu. We need to put like the bonus the fruit
points?
and cheese. How many points the fruit and cheese is worth? Corey, you still here? You listening to me?
I like it.
You can eat while you're playing. You get so many percentage points or a multiplier.
Right. What's on that thing? There's apples and stuff in there.
Now I would absolutely have to.
There's no cheese in this game. Although
we should
Super Pac
we
has
should have a
cheese.
Pac-Man plate with bananas, pears, apples, pretzels, oranges, strawberry, and cherry.
Yes, and no calorie listing, just the score total.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we'll need to have 5,000 calories worth of bananas.
Someone clip that. Are you guys listening to you?
How many bananas is that?
Clip that.
That's a lot of bananas.
That's a lot of
fairness.
bananas. I mean, granted, I need to eat healthier, but
I think that if you're eating 5,000 calories worth of anything, you're not eating healthy. I don't care if it's bananas or oatmeal or chicken breast.
Yes. Someone mashed the clip button in the Twitch. I need to go back and consult this idea again. We need to get our fruit and cheese plate updated with scores.
oh my gosh, that would be hilarious.
In case no one does, I'm just going to message you a rudimentary timestamp.
There we go. Or just message me to add the fruit and cheese plate with scores. It's happening. We're finding it. Even if I have to make an unofficial one.
My brother would like that.
That's a new weekly tradition. We're going to have the score listing of every food item on the menu.
Daryl, I hope you're hearing that. I think we found another food challenge for you. You won't be running this time, so less likely you might throw up. But if you can handle 12 donuts and a couple miles after that, I think you can handle anything in an arcade.
Right.
I believe so personally.
You guys could have a race. Like you can have like pretzels and bananas and stuff piled up on the table next to you, and he goes for that while you're going for the high score over here. See who gets the higher score.
Every time you eat a bonus food, you have to eat that food.
Oh my.
Oh jeez. Do you really want bananas then?
I think bananas, pears, and apples you can slice.
You're gonna get your potassium for the day. That's for sure.
I will say, Daryl made a challenge for me on Miss Pac-Man that has driven me nuts. He challenged me to get all the dots and none of the ghosts of fruit. And as easy as that may sound,
that sounds very hard.
It is actually insanely hard because you're so used. Because like the pattern I use to start out, which puts me right where the fruit comes out, I can't use that pattern because if the fruit comes out, I immediately blow it.
That's actually a fun challenge, though. Doing like The Legend of Zelda with no sword, things like that.
Oh, wow.
Doing Super Mario Brothers without touching a coin. Those are some
that I
tried to do that and got to 8-1, and there's some jumps that I couldn't do.
Hey man, impressed you made it to 8-1. It's hard. Like you think the game is easy and relatively, but
no, I put effort into it and came to the conclusion.
Then you add a restriction like that, and you're like, holy cow.
I mean, taking away the fruit. First off, the fruit becomes another ghost basically. And it rolls in the middle, which the middle is actually a really good. When you're running, the middle can be a good out, I find, if you're getting panicked. Sometimes I kind of look for a path. I kind of look in the middle. Okay. and well, that fruit just bounces around in there, and you can't get it, so it stays out there. Most of the, usually you can finish the board up while the fruit's out. So all of a sudden, your only opportunity to get, away is taken away, and it's either take the fruit or die. And it frustrates me to no end because while I'm playing, it's taking me back to when I first started playing again because it's such a learning. It's like learning all over again. And it's fun in one aspect, but man, it's just irritating. So my brother's, even when he challenges me, he's still irritating me.
But we've done a lot of smack talk with Daryl here. But I actually like that challenge quite a bit.
Oh, if he was here and he had these headphones on.
I'm more interested in that than I don't know. I'm more interested in that than a marathon record, to be honest with you.
I like it because it's really challenging. I want to do the marathon up at that one arcade just to see what I can do.
Because of the novelty of it. I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
But I'm not going to.
And anytime you want to put one, because you put the restriction on yourself. For example, Lauren Featherstone stopped voluntarily when she broke the Tapper World Record. She just
really, she didn't keep going.
No,
wow.
She had broken the record 4 hours before. She was going to stop at 24 hours. Then the Twitch chat was like, hey, you need to go for 13 million since you're so close. So she went an extra half an hour. And then she just quit. So, if you set a goal for yourself, for example, I want to play a game for 24 hours straight and one credit. That's a goal that's worth achieving. I want to get a kill screen on Miss Pac-Man. That's a goal that's worth achieving.
I saw the 25-hour charity event you all had. I saw that, and I was like, oh, man, if I know about that, I would have come down.
All right, I'm inviting you right now. November 2020.
I will
Free Play Arlington. You haven't done the Ms. Pac out there. We'll have a Ms. Pac set up for you.
I will.
We can get a Miss Pac-Man with no kill screen if you're interested.
Well, what I would like to do is actually, I'd just like to go for the world record for 25 hours.
Sure.
Down.
And I'm like, let's just do it. I mean, if I can get it here, that's because if I can get going, and I feel like if I can get going, I'll be fine. Well, I say that now. If I can get going, I mean, that's about 13 games. For 25 hours, I estimate about 13 games. So I can do them in just a little under 2 hours. If I get going, I usually get relaxed and just kind of flow. I'm like, because like I said, I'd love to get it. There's a delay, isn't there?
I feel like there's no. Well, it's slow twitch Arthur today. He's not playing Garu out there. He doesn't have to parry the ghost.
What's funny is I was like, I remember saying I can't believe people want to watch me play for 2 hours, and then I drove down to the Kong Clash in Little Rock, Arkansas, and watched a monitor with 10 live streamed. They had 12 Donkey Kong cabinets set up for the Kong Clash in Little Rock at the Vortex Arcade, and they had live streamed 10 of them at all times, and I sat there and watched 10 of those games for especially toward the end. My brother stayed up till 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning to watch some of the best players go at it. The guy that won the Kong off won everything there as well. He won all 3 sections of the 2 major tournaments.
Oh wow! Yeah,
Jeff Wolf. You start at noon. When you get told to go, you play. Highest score wins. Simple enough. They only had 2 kill screens when it was called last quarter. And he still had the high score, and he's comfortably in the high score. He's just, I think it was a hair over 900, 920, and nobody else was breaking 900,000. And everyone's going for his record, and he's kind of focused on them, not really his own game. So his last game, he died at his last guy was 150,000 on, and he took it all the way to the kill screen. And maybe the last 20 minutes or so, he could have just stopped because he had won. Everyone else had died. He wanted to kill screen that bad. And so the whole night ended with him getting a kill screen on the last game. And all the players are around watching. It was amazing. But he got $500 for it. He got a little cash reward. And
that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was like one of those things. I can't believe people want to watch me play. And then I'm down there watching people play Donkey Kong on 10 different monitors. 10 different. The stream had 10 different lives. They had 12 of them. 10 of the 12 monitors were live streamed, and they put their name on top of them. So you would have to play on different games, but they would put your name so you could see who was playing, and they had beginner and intermediate level. So there were people who couldn't break 100,000 in there. There was a couple kids, and they still put your name up there. They still treat you like a player, and and everyone's going for their division, and it was amazing to watch. Yeah, it was an interesting competition. But I did that. I went down just to watch that because I was like, this is amazing. And the owner, I was originally supposed to go there on Saturday and take a shot at the world record there, but he had a family issue. I don't know what happened, and but he had a family issue, and we had to postpone.
Hope everything gets worked out over there.
That's what I'm hoping. But he's Dan. If you're ever in there, ask for Dan. He's a really nice guy. I came in, and his son runs the counter. I did not mean to go that way.
Yeah, you're playing around over there.
Well, you got it in the end.
Oh, but yeah, I went in and I asked them, "Did you have a Turbo Miss Pac-Man?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, do you have a high score for it?" And I was pretty sure they did, but he's like, "Yeah, it's like 800,000." And he goes, I said, "Well, I'm gonna try to kill screen. I'm gonna try to break that." And Andrew's like, "You can do that?" I was like, "Yes, I can." And I spent the whole time. We talked about every game in there. It seemed like, but Miss Pac-Man, and and I basically sat there with, like, off center of the game. I wasn't facing the game, just talking to them. It was him, his dad, a couple other players. One lady drove in to watch me play. It was just fun. I died once, but like we talked about Galaga, Galaxian, Donkey Kong, all the tournaments, all this stuff, and it just blew my mind away.
In original Pac-Man,
Yeah.
at the end when you get to the kill screen, there's a few points to be had for every individual life you
Mm-hmm.
have. There's nothing like that in Miss Pac-Man, correct?
No, when you kill screen Miss Pac-Man, the game basically resets like you turned it off, turned it back on.
So a death in Pac-Man doesn't actually make as much difference score-wise, or necessarily doesn't?
What doesn't?
A death?
No. I mean, obviously having lives definitely makes me comfortable, but no,
Yeah.
there's no effect on your score. And since the fruit's random, unlike Pac-Man, where it's the same every time, your score is basically determined based on what the game will give you. It's it's the RNG, the random number gods, as I like to call them. But so it doesn't really give you points per live. It's just those 9 dots in the kill screen section. I think I saw Billy Mitchell go get those. That's something else.
Yeah. He
Find
did,
all those.
Yeah, he could really like work with the AI in that level as well. He could get so he would get the ghost trapped on the right side of the screen, scrolling up and down.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then just basically threw it around the room to let everybody play on the Pac-Man kill screen.
Wow.
Great showman, that Billy Mitchell.
For all the issues and all the drama, he is an amazing player. I would love to meet him one day. I've never met him. The owner of the Leachfield Arcade, his Miss Pac-Man his Cabaret Miss Pac-Man signed by Billy Mitchell, which I found odd because I'm like, why wouldn't he sign the Pac-Man? But he signed the Miss Pac-Man, and
Did you kill screen it and then go sign the Pac-Man?
I should do that. That'd be great. Actually, the owner got me going on Pac-Man. He just wanted me to play, and I was like, yeah, sure. And next thing I know, I'm cursing that game.
It's just a different game. It's
like
a different mindset. Just running a pure pattern.
The only time I ever tried it was on a 16-1, and when I did it, I ran right into the ghost like 3 out of the 5. 3 of my first deaths were just running right into the ghost. I'm like, they're going to go some other way. Nope, I ran right into them. And I just walked away from the game. I was like, I need a break.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And
I mean, it's a very different game.
it is. And honestly, if he didn't ask me to play, and he's a super awesome guy, if he didn't ask me to play, I wouldn't have ever tried it. And I got the high score down there. I think I'm just over 1 million right now. But, it's a great score, but to me it's like, but there's still a perfect score. So to me, there's all this I still have to do.
It's a solved state, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I was like, I know it's a good score, but I got a perfect score I need to get. But he actually, one day, on Sundays, they're closed for just parties, but they recently opened up for the public a little bit, but they hadn't told the parties. So the parties didn't want me over there. I didn't know. He pulled the game out, stuck it to a different area just so I could play it, and put a little sign up asking people to leave me alone. And then, there you go. And when I was playing like 5 straight hours, just every game, not nonstop. And I get done, and there's maybe a couple hours before they close, and he goes, "This party doesn't care if you go over and play, if you want to go play your game." And I went over and set the high score for the newest high score in that arcade. I think it's like 931, I think. But yeah, he was like, if you want to go do that, I go over and kill screen Miss Pac-Man after being frustrated with regular Pac-Man. And he's like, you feel better? I was like, yes, feel a whole lot better. Oh.
Well, we are approaching 500,000 points. Depending on what the fruit are, we might get in on this one.
Hey, you've got the high score for the day. Congratulations.
Hey, I think we're going to get on this map.
I'm managing this game finally.
I'm messaging my contact at Extra Life, Aaron out at Cook Children's. That's who.
500,000. Sorry.
There we go. That's who we benefit for our 25-hour stream. So as soon as I get the confirmation of the date back, I'll officially invite you. I'd love to have you out.
I'd love to come down. That sounds like it'd be fun.
It's a great event. It lasts a long time. You get to play a lot of games. It's great cause. And, well.
Yeah, Aaron will bring some of the patients out. Like, they have some patient players that'll come play with us. So that's pretty cool. They participated in the kids. Because what we do is, well, you know, but we do every event that we do all month, all in that one day. So the pinball tournament, the fighting game tournament, the puzzle game tournament, the kids ST tournament, and then we usually have somebody running old school games like Golden Age games in some fashion as well. Yeah, we do it all into a 25-hour period, and yeah, they'll bring the kids out, and you know, the kids from the hospital will play ST with us.
I did see a little bit of this live stream. Unfortunately, though, I was at work. I was working first shift at that time, so my boss did not want me on my phone. I was like, I'm watching a live stream. This is important to me.
Right, it's for the children.
Hey, thank
you. That's what we keep telling everybody too.
It's for the kids.
Right, they're right there. Look at that kid's face.
You gonna say no to that kid face? Well, my boss might. He's.
Say go back to the hospital.
Yeah, he's
dare you, sir.
My brother, when you just said 500,000, he responded, "Bravo, Dave. Bravo." Slow clap.
Awesome.
He wants to buy a Galaga to practice. Like, he's got a little more financial means than I do, and he did buy a Miss Pac-Man. He asked me if I would come up and test it. I went up to Indianapolis. He had drove over to pick it up, and I came in. He goes, "Well, what do you think?" By the time I got there, I've been playing for 30 minutes. I was like, "Well, the monitor's got a small issue with it, but it's not bothersome. You can play." And the board, you can solder the board on Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. Basically, it makes it harder, but what it really does is it removes 4 of the boards where the ghosts change. It changes the timing on all of them. And it's a simple thing, and usually I can figure it out pretty fast because the first board you play, the ghosts change way too fast. It makes no sense. So, but he was like, "Well, what about the joystick?" "Joystick's fine." He goes, "All right, good." So of course he was going to take it home regardless. He already paid for it. But I was like, my brother's like, "I should have charged him thinking about it, man. I should have been like, it's going to cost you if you want me to test out your games for you, Daryl." I should have been like, I could do that, but there's a fee involved for my expertise, I guess. I don't know.
I'm a very free-handing player of Ms. Pac, so I actually really appreciate some of the home brews that made it out with just custom mazes and stuff. I'm sure you've seen them out there at some point.
There was an arcade in Illinois I was trying to get to because they had a change on Miss Pac-Man. I could tell it was different. There you go. And I went out to the arcade, I drove out, they had a Facebook page. As I was driving out, the Facebook page was deleted. Apparently the arcade, it was the people who owned the building, they sort of just put the arcade in just to have something in there to make a little money. Well, they had leased it out to someone else. So the arcade had closed down. I got out there, it was closed, which I know that happens with really small town arcades sometimes. But I thought it was still open. I got there. I mean, they had a high scoreboard too, but I saw a piece of the board and it was completely different. And I was like, now that's a challenge. That's something I can sink my teeth into because it was definitely a turbo, but it was not. It was definitely the speed version, but it was not the standard boards. But unfortunately, I keep hoping maybe that shop will close down and they'll reopen the arcade.
Yeah, No Tini's Pizza out in Bossier City, Louisiana would play, and yes, it's pronounced Bossier City and not Bossier or whatever you might think with a French Louisiana title. But anyway. Yeah, they had a sped-up Ms. Pac with just every maze was custom, and there were some that were wide open, like some of the later levels in the Genesis version of Ms. Pac.
Ooh.
Gotcha. All right, we're coming back.
Here we go, Chief.
Coming back. Or I'm just going to kill it so that Arthur cannot have to look at this maze upside down and inverted all the time. Oh, my goodness. After watching you play on the fast level, I can't look at these ghosts poking around.
They're going so slow, I know.
Can we just warp to the no? I don't need power pills.
The Apple levels where they start going. Come on, slowpokes. There you go.
Goodness. Well, you can enjoy some of the pizza now.
Oh, I have a moment, so don't die.
I got you.
Okay, so this camera angle looks a little bit wonky, and I do apologize for that. but
Just don't mess it up for when David plays. That's all we care about.
there we go.
I
It's
gotta
at least right.
I gotta study this video later.
I do apologize for the look of this.
Haha.
All right, first stage. I'm not going to do all the fancy camera tweaks.
Well, we've been going at it since a little after 11, I think we started. So, a few hours.
Not gonna lie, that pizza's really good.
Yeah, that's the sausage
Really
and
good.
pepperoni here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Like I said, Corey doesn't want to do anything without doing it like to the maximum level.
No, that's really good pizza. And
It's really hard to have the conversation with the new customer too. That's like, well, is it bigger than the Papa John's pizza? Like, no,
it's
but
better.
it's good. Like, I promise you, it's good, and you're not gonna be hungry afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I always challenge people like on the podcast and stuff. Like, we're talking big words out here. Please feel free to come out and check it out. Like, put it to the test. The proof's in the pudding, and I really like the pudding here. As Nate from Kansas, who drives in every other weekend, says, the Kool-Aid's good. Try it. That generally ends up being how it is. So it's a good time. We did that. It took me forever. Did you happen to follow the Texas Law Hawk drama?
What's up?
Are you familiar with the Texas Law Hawk, a criminal defense attorney from Fort Worth, Texas? If you haven't, after this broadcast is over, or maybe in a different tab, you can click over and search Texas Law Hawk commercial.
Okay.
The Texas Hammer is Jim Adler. He is a legendary, insane lawyer with insane commercials. Well, the Law Hawk and, me and
Yes.
Arthur as well, grew up with these insane commercials, and he decided to make commercials that were, if the Hammer was a 9 out of 10, then the Law Hawk is a 40 out of 10. I'm talking doing wheelies on motorcycles, holding American flags while shooting flamethrowers. And that's like 3 seconds of the commercial. So, needless to say, he is a popular criminal defense attorney in the Fort Worth area. We opened Free Play Fort Worth. I thought we're going to do, not only that, we're opening it with a Tuesday night fights on Super Turbo, which features a character named T-Hawk. And it's not mentioned what the T stands for. So I contacted Brian E. Wilson, a.k.a. the Texas Law Hawk, several times. And it was a hard conversation with him because, most people when they hear, well, we're going to have a fighting game tournament, they're like, probably if I asked you, David, to come out to a fighting game tournament, you'd be like, I don't play fighting games. I've never played any fighting game. I really don't want you to come, like, have a 6-year-old do fatalities on me in Mortal Kombat 2. But that's just not the format of our tournaments. So we do pro-am style. Amateurs play amateurs. So you're literally playing against somebody who's mashing buttons on the other side. And then if you win, you get a chance to play the better player. Even when you lose to them, your pro backs you up. So we had Jeremy Withers, who had won the previous monthly tournament in Super Turbo, practice up his T-Hawk. That was his partner. He had the best to have his back. And I would talk to him and back and forth we went over text, and I kept saying, like, you really don't have to know. And, like, he would say, well, I played Mortal Kombat on the Genesis back in the day, so if it was Mortal Kombat, which we certainly have here, or Killer
and it's
Instinct.
a Fort Worth location.
Yeah, or Killer Instinct, which we also have at Fort Worth, then I would do that. And I was just like, those games don't have T-Hawk. Like, there's a special moment here, and plus, you really don't need to. So back and forth we went. Finally, my persistence paid off. He came out, and he said, I can be there for an hour. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You come in, you play one game, one round, win or lose, you say hi on the stream. We'd be perfectly happy with that. But I knew this is the place. Like, this is the mecca for playing in arcade games. Like, everything's real here, and everything's kept up. And when you find something breaks down, which it does, we have an army of techs to come flying at it. I'm sure the reason we saw Corey was he saw something on the stream that he did not like. Like, some pixel was messed up, and it was the reflection in the mirror, and and he didn't know it, and he's so obsessed that he came out here, and that's why he was briefly on the stream, just to make sure it was 100% perfect as opposed to 99.7% perfect. But that's how we roll here. And yeah, he stayed for that hour. He played 1 round, and he's like, yeah, we're staying all night. We're good. Good to see you. He'll be coming back for Mortal Kombat night, I'm sure.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Should I go for it? Yes.
Even I'm like, that's close.
And then I just throw it away here.
Nah.
I'm only here for the white knuckle ride
Yeah.
and this banana right here. Oh, I'm getting really careless now.
Oh man. Ooh, I mean, it's Texas. I guess you should.
Yeah, we're doing this West Texas style. Just gonna get in the flats and haul ass. There we go. So what's the most jank? Now, emulators excluded, because I know you can get some of those in like a tire or something. But like, the most jank, actual, authentic Ms. Pac you've played or seen and refused to play.
Wow.
Oh, there's a hidden one. I'm gonna die over there. I can barely see this.
I think the
bar
worst
right there.
machine I've ever played on, Miss Pac.
Or it doesn't have to be the worst, just the craziest.
No, most of them are.
Because honestly, the worst I've played is not the worst I've played because I had fun playing it because it was so bizarre.
What was wrong with it? What was different with it?
Okay, my worst machine is actually not too far from here in a laundromat.
Of course.
And the joystick doesn't have a top, and there are exposed screws on the control panel. But I will tell you this, it's the fast version of Ms. Pac-Man,
Yeah.
which makes it better than every slow version. And it's on a real CRT, so no laggy LCD conversions. So we're good there. Except there's a problem with the CRT. It kind of, sort of doesn't have the color red. That's,
I've seen things like that. Where
that's all well and good. Except if you notice this board, the dots
are red.
They're red.
That,
that would be impossible.
in all honesty, if the dots were invisible, that sounds like a fun Miss Pac-Man hack.
You are exactly right. Here we go. You are exactly right. It's fun to go play it there because the dots are invisible. You got to switch the camera now, but
Yeah.
the dots are invisible. And yes, I every time I go there to do my laundry, just because I want to play terrible Ms. Pac-Man while I do my laundry, yeah, I do it without the red. So, and another thing is Blinky's invisible. He's just a pair of eyes coming at you. There's no red.
See, the ghost being invisible doesn't sound that much fun, but the dots being invisible sounds like a fun memory exercise to
yeah.
me.
I will say I've played a couple times where the colors are off, and so the red and the yellow ghosts look identical. And other times Pinky
That would actually be more difficult. Well, if it had no animation at all, it would be difficult.
Pinky and Blinky also every once in a while, the pink and the blue will be way too close, and it's like, well, one of them's Pinky, one of them's Blinky. I'm not sure which one's which.
And you're like, which one's the green one?
But yeah, it's. I mean, I've played on some bad joysticks, but nothing too crazy. I will say I went to an arcade up in Akron, Ohio with my brother, and he was playing the. I got the high score on Miss Pac-Man. He got the high score on Frogger, but the joystick, the whole thing that holds the joystick, the panel, was loose. It's like being held on by a screw that was not holding it very well. So if you pulled back on the joystick too hard, the whole thing would start to come open. It would start to pop off. And I was like, so he managed to get a. He didn't get a great, he got like 30-something thousand, but like every time he pulls back, he had to put his hand on the panel and just hold it down. And the guy who ran this place was selling everything was for sale. It was kind of his way of making, I guess, trying to make a little money, but the prices were insane. They were just like, I was like that one alone was way overpriced. I'm like, you can't play it. It's got a major problem. Nope, still way overpriced. I'm like, okay. But that's about the only time I've ever had like, what the moment with any kind of situation. The fact that I can pretty much pull the entire panel off and just I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I went.
I think I've played on that machine before. If not that one specifically, that problem.
I went to a I went to a public arcade and played Cyberball one day, and I actually played it with our bartender over there, Mike Blomgren, and we were playing Cyberball, and he's playing with me, and the joystick comes off in his hand. I took a picture of it. He just got a sad face. He's holding the joystick. He wasn't playing violently at all. It just the whole thing came up.
Wow.
Clearly not free play. And this is what Corey did. He bought the machine and fixed it.
That is how you do it.
So you can go play that machine in free play for work.
And,
now.
and the joystick won't come off. That's the important part.
Right.
But
I'm not telling him where the mystery Ms. Pac is because I want to play Invisible Ms. Pac-Man.
You want that
once
challenge.
once every 6 months, with exposed screws.
The fact that there's no ball top on that stick is really what.
That would be so. I will say, like the Galaga Miss Pac-Man Anniversary Edition, the joystick's a little bit lower, and I've actually hurt my hand on it.
Right.
Jerking it so hard, and I'm like, man, it drives me nuts. I'm like, of course the game fights back. I used to smack the side of the game, which if you smack the metal part that the joystick's on, of course it hits the glass, makes a loud noise. Well, one night at the arcade I'm at, I do that. The game resets, and I'm like, that's the way that the game is trying to tell me stop hitting me.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, the game was like, no, I'm done.
I mean, that's in the rule set of pinball. If the game tilts, that's the referee telling you hit it too hard. Pinball.
Not great
You
at it,
could-
but I do love it.
You can get better. You can get good
It's
in relatively short order given your travel schedule.
well, actually, the Rec Bar in Louisville, they renovated a whole back garage, and they actually put in like 50 pinball games in there just
Wow.
for that. It was one. They had about 20 of them out in the open, and a guy who had a connection, he knew the owner, he was involved with all that. He said, hey, he's like, he watched me play a pinball, and he goes, man, I'm not gonna lie, 'cause they have leagues. He goes, I'm so glad you're not good at pinball as you are, Miss Pac-Man, because that's his game. He loves it. And I said, well, I'm trying, but I'm just not that great. And he took me back, and they had a mural done in the back. It's a really nice setup. And on nice days, they'll just open up the garage and let the fresh air come in. But they do their best. They do really do a good job to take care of them. I've usually seen a tech in there usually cleaning one out or just trying to maintain them. I don't think they have as many techs as Free Play does, but they definitely try. But they it was just a nice little 50. I will say, if you like old school pinball, that arcade in West Virginia, I think only 2 or 3 of their the pinball games are modern games. I know they have Monopoly, and I think they might have had one more, but all of them are just old school. Some of them don't have ramps. They're just one level.
I actually love solid state machines. Yeah,
Oh.
like Black Knight.
The one that got me the most was there was one at a laundromat we used to use when I was a kid, and we only used it when our stuff broke down, but I always remember it's like a cowboy themed one, and it was first thing when I walked in. It was right next to where I actually paid to get in. And I was like, hello, old friend, how you doing? And I haven't seen that thing since I was probably like 10. So I was it just took me back completely. And I was like, that's the thing about some of these games. Like when you see them in places, they remind you of. This one reminds me of a laundromat. When I see a Miss Pac-Man,
I believe this building used to be a laundromat.
then this is
That's
perfect.
The
So
secret to getting enough electricity.
Dry cleaner. Yeah.
Well, that must be why I'm so good at the game here, because I'm only good at a laundromat, I guess.
That's right. And with pizza, and we got pizza right here.
Got to have a pizza. Truly, I feel like I want a Pizza Hut lamp. It doesn't have to be a Pizza Hut pizza, just a Pizza Hut lamp.
I know the lamp you're talking about.
Yeah,
With
I know.
the green glass or whatever.
I know
That
it
stained
as
glass
well.
Pizza Hut glass. Oh, the old back when they served you at the table and you had to. I went there
Back when I had Miss Pac-Man.
and Galaga. They always had Miss Pac-Man, and usually like Afterburner. It was it was like an airplane. And you had the joystick, the airplane, the jet fighter joystick.
You're gonna have to go visit Free Play Fort Worth because you've described like half the floor. We have Afterburner there.
Also, Denton, or do we move it?
Oh, you might be right.
I think it's in both,
Is
but I
it-
could
is
be
it?
wrong
Okay,
easily.
fair enough.
It's on the floor at Free Plays. I can guarantee you that.
It all blends together when you visit all of them in one day, which we have done recently.
I didn't watch the whole video. I was watching part of it. I had to go on and do something, but I was watching the video where he went over the floor, and I'm just like I'm like 2 minutes in. I'm like, wow, that's wow.
Yeah. And then every time we walked in, because the first one we got to at open, basically, because we opened early for the holidays. And the first one I walked in, and there was a professor there who recognized me, and he was instantly like, Chris, I brought my class over. Will you please show them how to play this game? I was like, sure, okay.
Was it the Arlington one?
No, Fort Worth.
Oh, okay.
And then the next one we visited, same thing. Someone had brought all their kids and their kids' friends, and like, can you show them how to play this game? It's like every one was the same experience, and I do remember specifically like Jason in Fort Worth, and I don't remember the ones that were coming up to me in the subsequent free plays. Oh no, I do remember. David Whitlock had his offspring at free play didn't.
All right.
But yeah, same story. Every location, every game I looked at was starting to blend together. But Miss Pac always going to be at all of them. Always going to be the fastest.
I mean, it's I love the fact that it's a game that everyone recognizes. If I was, because I think I can say, oh, I'm really good at Miss Pac-Man, and everyone knows the game.
Correct.
I never have to explain the game or.
Yeah, not the case with Tapper. Although it's a good story when you go see what Tapper is.
I went to my family reunion, or not my family, my Christmas get-together for.
By the way, King of Balloon does not count.
King.
That's nonsense.
My.
Thanks for the vibe, Corey, for breaking that world record, but
it doesn't count.
It's not on the same conversation as the Ms. Pac.
No. I went to my family get-together, and my cousin is I'm friends with on Facebook with my cousins, so I make all my stuff for Miss Pac-Man public. Because, it's like, I should point out, I went to an arcade in Jackson, Michigan.
Just cost $600,000?
Oh, yeah, hey. Actually, we're on good pace right now for probably just around $900,000 for right now, I should say. But I went up to a place up there. I played on a really bad game. This is probably the bad one, I guess. And it was clearly
was
not.
it Pac-Land?
No, it was. It was
sorry.
It was clearly made like
the developers of Pac-Land, if they're still with us, are going to come out, find me down, hunt me down, and kill me. And
they're waiting. They're
and
waiting at the pearly gates.
I'm just going to be like, yeah, I was really just making fun of my friend. Your game's fine.
But the thing was, it was an upright, but like it was so a knockoff. It was so obviously a knockoff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could tell it was a knockoff. Like the joystick, that piece is metal that holds the joystick. The piece was wood with plastic over it.
I hate seeing it so much.
It was so clear, and the joystick was bad. It was cheap. Like if I went backwards, there was such a delay. If I was too close to the ghost, I would die. And I figured this out real fast. Had to learn how to get the ghost in a different manner on all the boards. Still managed to break the height. The top score was like 150,000. It wasn't that good, but the joystick was horrible, so I'm not really shocked by that. And the guy who held the record, guy's name is Mitch J. And he hunted me down on Facebook. Sent me a random text. You play Miss Pac-Man? Because my picture on Facebook is just it's a Pac-Man with a Green Bay logo in it.
How dare you, sir?
I know. I'm a friend because my friends are Green Bay Packers, and I was like, okay. My running joke is like Lexington and U of L UK. I was like, I'm a U of L fan because my brother got me a U of L sweatshirt for Christmas. So so if you buy me something else, I'll probably wear it, become a different fan. But no.
Hey, the only reason we hit start a second time is so I don't have to hear about the Jason Garrett press conference where he gets fired.
Has he been fired?
It's happening today.
I figured that.
We don't know, but we all anticipate it today. Or our beloved owner is going to extend him another 17 years.
We'll see.
We can deliver you guys some more really sweet facilities to win championships.
But no, gentleman found me. And all he sent was a text, do you play Miss Pac-Man? I'm like, yeah. He goes, have you ever played at a place in Jackson, Michigan? I was like, yeah, that's my score. I just said it. I was like, and he goes, well, you beat my score. And I've chit-chatted with him. He's a nice guy. It's interesting. I jokingly called him my stalker for a little while just because he hunted me down. I'm like, hey, oh, hello. But he's a pretty cool guy. He's a hunter apparently. Got a deer. I'm like,
Arthur knows what that's
I don't
like.
have patience for that. I don't want to be outside like that.
Whenever Arthur goes hunting, I just demanded he bring me back duck.
Well,
and he did. It's a good man right there.
Thank you. I may go hunting again early this year. I still have yet to figure that out, and if so, I'll bring you more duck.
Let me consult with if my house has a cook in it or not at that point. But
okay,
maybe. I want the duck. Will I be able to process it? I don't know.
I will say, if you are ever in Louisville, and you are there's a place called Pastime Fish House. Next weekend is Wild Game Weekend, Wild Card Weekend. Well, there it's Wild Game Weekend, so all the hunters come in, and basically.
Please don't tell me they shoot the arcade machines.
No, it's not a bar.
Unless they're 1-ups, in which case arcade 1-ups, in which case open fire.
I saw.
If there's anything made for an AK-47, it's the arcade 1-up.
The no, it's Wild Game Weekend. It's not a barcade. It's just wow, that was kind of closer than I wanted it to be. Basically it's a fish house, and they actually have like a 16-1. It's not meant to be an arcade, but it's Wild Game Weekend. So all the hunters bring in their food and they just start serving. So I'll be sitting there and all of a sudden have these deer sliders put in front of me, and you don't ask what's in it, you just eat it.
Yeah.
And
That's my style.
Oh, I love it. And they get deep deer jerky and all this stuff. And there was something. It's like I forget what part of the deer it is, but they just hand it to me, and I'm like, I mean, it's so good. And my friend told me to come. I was like, okay. He said, just be quiet and eat whatever they put in front of you. I'm like, okay. And the fact that it's a fish house, they don't have any kitchen open that day. The owner puts out like some slaw and some basic things, and he's just like, they're cooking out front in the grill. Oh.
My old roommates, one of them worked in, it doesn't matter. He moved around he moved Colorado, Jackson Creek I want to say it was, and also went to Brazil, went in the resort industry, would manage resorts and particularly the kitchens, right? So accomplished cook, been around the world, and so he a hunter as well. But guns, not so legal in the city for good reason. So he also had a really nice cat, older cat, and found that there was a squirrel taunting his cat, trying to get it. So Eric pulls out a blow dart. I'm not kidding, a blow dart. And we actually he cooked up and grilled this squirrel.
How was that?
That he blow darted. It tasted like chicken because he made it like chicken. He had his own custom barbecue sauce that he made for it, like filleted the whole thing, and like, here we go. You try and eat my cat, we're gonna literally have you for dinner, and we did. And that's a damn good squirrel. The Plano squirrel. Mwah.
Let's try that out sometime. I have to hunt a squirrel first, but
yeah, well.
They seem to dodge my car pretty well, but
Well, I mean, just not blow darts apparently. I can't believe he had a blow dart.
That's pretty skillful.
And he just pulls it out and darts a squirrel. Good grief, Eric. Also, let me know next time you dart a squirrel. I'm coming over.
So let me know too. I'm gonna come down for that.
The thing said over Miss Pac.
Oh man. Oh.
What's a typical score for when you can stop eating ghosts?
When I get the ghost done, I'm usually around 300,000.
Okay.
If I'm going for a high score, it has to be at least 320 to 340 range, because at that point, for usually 300,000's on good pace for upper 800s. I've had some really bad ones where I'm at 280 and I know the game's going to probably be challenging, but because I find the fruit gets really lacking in the last third of the game for some reason.
That's weird.
Miss Pac-Man does not like. I've wanted to analyze it and record the games and figure out, because if you get to board 133, the last guaranteed board, and the fruit comes evenly, you should get 906,000 and change, a very specific score, because there's it's like 27 of each one or something like that. It's a very specific amount, and so you can calculate that score pretty comfortably. And based on the fact that it's random, you would think it would come, that would be the average, but I find myself not getting around 900,000 a lot. So I kind of think that it actually leans toward, some of the weaker fruit. That's my opinion.
I'm honestly curious, and it's probably been dissembled and really fully fleshed out, but how the random
I bet it
fruit
has not.
algorithm.
Honestly, I bet it hasn't been
really
disseminated. Yeah.
I mean, I've thought about recording all my games and really trying to analyze them to figure out Because
I feel like you need to get into the code of the game, and that's hard to access.
I mean, I'd be up for it, but that being said, I don't know. I'd be curious exactly how it goes because, I mean, I'd love to analyze it. Like me and my brother are statistical geeks. We have spreadsheets on some of the craziest of things, and my dad does
how
too.
many donuts you eat during a race.
Well, we ran for an all-boys high school, and we got a hold of our coach used to give out
Oh my God,
packets
he's
of
gonna
all
say
the
I'm
time.
right.
And we figured out I could tell you the worst runner in the history of the program at the 5,000 meter distance. I could tell you where we ranked. I said I know we were the second best group of brothers to ever come through, and it wasn't close. The other two guys were amazing.
The McCaffreys.
That was there were two guys ran. One ran for 2 years. He won state both times.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's not too shabby to run state twice and win state twice. And then his brother had 3 top 10 finishes as sophomore through senior. So I was like, yeah, I don't think we're going to beat them.
Yeah.
Me and my brother have 3 state titles between us, and we have 3 top 10 finishes, 3 top 15 finishes.
Yeah, well, you bring them to free play, and we'll play some track and field. We'll see who's winning then. Especially while eating donuts.
Now there you go. We'll call it the Krispy Kreme Challenge, the free play Krispy Kreme Challenge.
I kind of like that idea. But it's a lot easier to eat donuts and play video games than it is to eat donuts
It
and
is.
run. Maybe if we ever put a Dance Dance Revolution machine on the floor.
Oh, no. This sounds like we're going down a bad, dark path here. Bad, vomit-inducing path.
We just have to have a mop ready, that's all.
I
We
feel
got
like
that, but I don't need that.
I really feel like Dance Dance Revolution in a place with alcohol is just a bad combination to begin with. You'll note that we don't have it on the floor.
Right. But I hear it's coming to free play Dallas in
yeah.
some way. Yeah. They're gonna try and figure out a way. That's the.
I
long
wish
and
them
short of
well.
You need to have a
I
video.
wish us
you
well.
need to have a camera on it at all times, a live stream camera, so you can always watch the drunker
We
people
have
who are drinking
permissions
too much
waivers
dance.
or
Like,
whatever.
The one that's heartbreaking is like games with hydraulics. They really can't be on the floor. So like power drift, we had a perfect power drift that was working. You can find videos of it on our YouTube. Back in the lab,
Yeah.
it was ready to go on the floor, except you can't put it on the floor because no drinking and driving, but no drinking and hydraulics. Like someone's gonna get killed in there because the whole thing is like picking up and moving.
Yeah.
Like I've always had a dream of playing on the Afterburner that you see in.
Afterburner 2, I love that game.
Well, the Afterburner specifically that you see in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
So like I want to play that one that John Connor was playing. It looks cool as hell, except there's no real way to put it out in public here. Are you trying to sneak in?
Who is this sneaking in?
This is my best friend, Sarah. She may
Nice
or
to
may
meet
not
you.
make video games for a living.
She may or may not. It's a possibility.
Would she like to speak on the stream?
All right, here we go. So this is a rare treat for me. I guess I'm just going to introduce her. Oh, hold on, we have the microphone tied up in the cart right now.
My bad.
Huh? Yeah. What do you mean watching? I'm playing this game, Sarah. I'm going to come back. My Next Man. You watch.
Going
My Next
900,000
Man.
right there.
You'll never see the end of My Next Man.
Okay, sounds like a good man.
That's actually a possibility.
It is a possibility. So this is Sarah. She's the bestie. Don't get to see her nearly enough because I work like 8 days a week here.
Yeah, he's a workaholic.
Yeah.
It happens. Well, when you have an arcade at your work, it's not helping the cause.
Yeah, this is Sarah. This is David Parks. He is from what part of Kentucky? Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville, Kentucky. Suddenly, you had mentioned Lexington, and now it's in my head. Yeah,
I lived there for a little bit. I don't recommend it.
yeah.
Hey,
You
you'll
can
have
also,
a good bourbon, I hear. So.
We got plenty of those.
yeah, just
And
pass.
every arcade bar in Kentucky, the 3 that I know about, has like an extra shelf with like 70 bourbons on it.
Oh, nice.
The Rec Bar one, the cost for Old Pappy, which of course is insanely expensive, it says your firstborn. And my best friend is good friends with the owner. And I said, you know what we should do is we should go get your firstborn like with a suitcase and bring him in and see what they say.
just drop them off at the door.
Pretty much. I said,
All right,
why
pour
not?
me a shot.
I mean, you play Miss Pac-Man, so you're full of babies, right?
Yeah. Well, it does. It stops though. It stops
Oh,
though
does
because
it?
we're done. How many kids does she have? 4.
What?
The
Oh, the
Act 3.
intermissions. I think it's 3. I think.
Okay, 3.
Yeah. Now it's the boring part. Now she's just feeding herself. She's gorging.
Okay, well, 4 kids, 4 shots. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. Every time you get intermission, you take a shot.
There you go.
There's the new challenge for this one. We were talking about
I mean,
doing.
you're gonna sober up towards the end though.
That's true. Maybe we should
Well,
figure this out.
then when you eat the fruit, you eat some chips or whatever
Oh,
nachos.
this in from Twitter. I'm told the entire Cowboys coaching staff has been fired.
This is
Trying
my
to avoid it.
This is my shock face.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I spent last night. I drove in about 2 in the morning. I got in about 2 in the morning last night, and as I'm driving in, I'm listening to ESPN, and that's pretty much. And one of the ladies who was talking was definitely a huge Cowboys fan, and they're asking who's the first person that gets fired today, and she just goes
Tie
"Boy-"
between all of them.
She goes, boys, I'll take this one. It's gonna be Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
And he's just like, there's no second place on this one, and she was right.
Are we joking or is he actually fired?
He's actually fired.
Wow.
Yeah, he's fired. Well,
Well, I don't know if the press conference hasn't been announced yet, but
I believe
Twitter
he was not fired. They just decided not to renew his contract. There was a
verified
technical-
Twitter.
Oh, the classy resign. Okay,
Exactly.
very nice.
It's like, oh, look, you're at the end of your contract. Well, we're done.
We seem to have forgot to extend it. Oh well.
How'd that happen? Gosh, maybe it must have got lost in the mail. Oh well.
Keep waiting. But yeah, David Parks from Kentucky travels around, gets kill screens on Miss Pac-Man, going for the world record. This one won't count because he's got a player too. That's okay. It's okay because I'm going to beat his score. You watch.
Up the dot.
And if I have bags under my eyes right now, it's actually Sarah's fault because I'm always playing Borderlands 3 and she helped make that game. It's
Well,
all your
thank you
fault.
very much. I'm glad you're playing it.
You accept that responsibility gladly.
And initially, I'm not going to lie, initially I was just playing to see your name at the end, which I did.
And then you saw it 3 more times.
That's being generous. Or not generous enough actually, because I've seen it way more than that. Because got a level 50 with every character, and I've beat the Moxie's DLC, which has your name all over again multiple times. So
Of course. And there's more coming out, so
yeah,
keep playing it. No.
don't you worry, I will.
And I'm over here not playing my own game and playing The Witcher again.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's like, oh, yay, came out on Netflix, let's be a tool and replay this. Sounds good to me.
Hey, any excuse is a good excuse for that one. One of the top 3 narratives of all time in video games.
The problem is I don't even play it for the narrative, I play it for Gwent. All cards,
Okay,
all the
okay, I
time.
did the same thing. Yes. You make your super deck with Gwent. You need to progress through the game, though, so you can get the mysterious elf card.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Michelle, my wife, she looks and she's like, "Isn't this an RPG?" And I'm like, "No, this is a deck building game. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're just traveling through the world trying to get extra cards for your deck building game.
Yes.
Yeah. We are true nerds.
And going to brothels in between.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't say anything. I'm sitting here playing a Miss Pac-Man game on a live stream.
It's good times.
I always tell people that I'm not the biggest nerd in the world, but I have my nerdy obsession, and I'm doing it right now. Makes me happy.
I feel you, man. It makes me happy too. Miss Pac-Man over pizza. By the way, you want some getting colder pizza? Feel free.
Really good. I highly recommend it. Considering first time I came here, I had nothing to eat. Like I came in and I ate at like 11 o'clock, drove to the other arcade, played there, and then I came here to play. I didn't eat anything from like 11 o'clock until I ended up leaving here like at 9. And I think that's
Oh,
one of the
man,
reasons I had
that's-
trouble.
yeah.
Because I was suffering, and as I was leaving, I was like, man, I'm starving. And then I realized,
We have a
maybe I
kitchen.
should eat something.
We have a kitchen. You can do it.
I should have had something.
Yeah.
In between games, I looked back, I was like, man. I literally did everything I could to make it harder on myself. Just make it a little bit harder, I guess.
Yeah, if you're going for high-level video game performance
Don't
while
starve
playing
yourself.
here all day, I do recommend visiting our kitchen. Maybe not the bar so much. Maybe.
Lies.
All right, Mr. Brown. Go for the Mr. Brown to keep you awake, unless you're going more than 24 hours, in which case you're going to need to even nurse the Mr. Brown.
And then you might as well go for Jack, Jim,
yeah.
all the other guys.
That's way late.
Oh, wow, we're 750,000. Oh, that's good. I'm not even looking at the score. I'm just like, oh, okay. Every so often I look up, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we're thinking this kill screen comes around Well, what would you guess?
Well, I'm on the
You
seventh.
missed one ghost.
I do a split. Every 16. You know, the boards repeat the 16 boards.
Right.
And then the first split includes the first 5 as well.
Mm-hmm.
When I hit the eighth split, that's when. Once I'm done with the eighth split, that's when we're in those 8 extra boards. And that's when things get.
Yeah.
Whatever happens is gonna happen. So
Yeah. So there's
at least was that 16 plus about 24, a little over 24 more boards.
Yeah, so there you go. And it's random. Like there's an area of boards where it'll kill screen out. Are you going to GDQ this year?
I'm hoping to.
Oh,
Not the one in Florida.
You're up, Chris.
All right, let's go.
All right.
The comeback begins.
Oof, that's a big comeback.
And we're done.
All right, good job. No babies for you.
Oh, I think he still has the babies coming.
All right.
Don't be.
So do I have? I had to remember which board I'm on.
that is the challenging part. If you die in this portion, like, oh, where am I?
Right. So it was GDQ. Are you headed out? Because the one coming shortly.
One coming shortly, I think, is in Florida, and I'll
Yes.
definitely be going to the one in Minnesota.
Okay, so not the Florida one.
Not the Florida one. Florida's kind of nasty, so I don't know. Sorry, Floridians.
I mean, I've been there, and it kind of is.
It's already a sweaty
It's
boy
not-
convention, and
It's
you
not
know.
as bad as Louisiana, where I come from, but it's
Yes.
if you're on the beach is cool. Good times at the beach.
Yeah, I'll be in a hotel room
Stay.
watching people play games fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's much like this.
And what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
We actually have one of our big players, Jerry Holt, is out there, going to be out there with his super gun running a super turbo tournament because of course he is.
Ah.
Nice.
He's out of control.
And what
he really
character-
shouldn't go for that one, but he will.
What character
course.
does he play on the Super? What?
He's a good man. Plays Dawson,
Oh,
like
I
one
see.
should. Like,
Nice move.
You say so, but you also lose to Blanca sometimes, so.
we can challenge this theory. We got time. Okay, so I've done. Let me kill these ghosts real quick. I've played in like emulators or hacked together things, and this drives me nuts. When they exit out, see how I'm cool here? Because I always go to the left. They'll just exit out and go to the right. I'm like,
There's a
what is this
reverse, and that
nonsense?
sometimes that can cause that.
No, these it wasn't a random one. They would just go to the right. Like it's not a legit version of Miss Pac. Like, oh my goodness.
That's well, you know, in the 20th anniversary one, if you die, I told you need dots to get them out. In the 20th anniversary one, you don't. In any main version,
Okay.
so you just keep playing; they'll come out eventually. Which, I mean, I don't like that because that's part of that. To me, that's an important part of the game. But I guess they made it easier for, you know, for people who are just playing casually. I guess, which, I'm like, whatever.
Don't go for it. Oh wait. This is a man playing with house money. This is free play. The games cost nothing. In fact, if I die quicker, I get to see David play some more. But I'm not getting these two. I'm not that crazy. Wink.
My local friend was at we have a gaming convention in Louisville, which I'm always out of town for. Every time that's going on, oh yeah, he takes his kid to the arcade. You know, all the owners bring their arcade games, and he's like, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm at the convention. We're at the arcade. I'm like, oh, that was this weekend, wasn't? Oh, I keep missing that thing. One year he was there, and some lady was watching a guy play Miss Pac-Man in Cocktail, and he had, you know, the ghost I think stopped changing, and it was at he was at somewhere around like 180,000, which I can get around 300,000. So like that, you know, there's a lot of points there to be had. And the lady's like, oh, they don't change anymore. And he was explaining to her, and he goes, oh, you're good at the game? He goes, I have a friend who's really good. And he joked, he said, I'm about ready to start talking trash. I was like, well, if I'm in town, you can call me. I'll show up. But if I'm not in town, you're just on your own. You just have to get your butt there and figure it out yourself.
That's right. I must say, one of the first times I ever played Miss Pac-Man was in a tournament, and so I wasn't feeling very lucky. Chris comes behind me and just left, right, up, left, right, down, up, left, right. And I have like about a half a second, you know. I got ninth in that, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got second in that tournament.
Oh, in the
with
overall.
my
Yeah.
my
That's even
direction
better.
in that.
Yeah, so just hacking Miss Pac-Man from behind.
Right. Yeah. There may have been some coaching, as we were definitely coaching. That was fun though. I mean, that's an impressive feat that was an impressive feat for me at the time because like
Sit there and tell her what to do while it's.
but to be able to respond to Ms. Pac-Man that quick, like
It's like a experienced Dragon Slayer player right there.
you're not
No.
lying. That's I was impressed. I was super happy
Yeah,
too.
it's like I've never really played this game. You're like, don't worry.
Anytime-
Okay.
we talked about the I wasn't even
There
looking
we
at it. We talked about the joust tournament that I won and filmed at the same time. Sarah here came in second, and I remember just giving her a big hug in the in the final.
It was
Always more fun when you can play with friends. So that says the community liaison of free play.
That's right, Sensei.
Well, I don't know if you've heard all the lovely texts I've been receiving from my brother. He he basically, I broke 500,000. He announced it, and my brother sent a thing. Good job, Dave. Slow clap.
Oh.
We harp on each other. Like I've been harping on him here the whole time. So, and I can pick when I say his text. So, but we were at an arcade in Dayton and we were playing for stuff, and he's trying to break 1 million at Galaga, and we're going at it. And the whole time we're right next to each other, just letting each other have it. We have no sympathy for each other. It's just we're insanely competitive as it is, and so just the idea of, and even though we're playing 2 different games next to each other, you know, he's like, oh, I'm gonna have a higher score than you on Galaga. You know, I'm like. Not worried. Not worried. I'll have the highest score at the end of the night. And then finally at one point he said something smart aleck. He died, and I finally looked at him. I said, well, you know, Daryl, we can't all be world record level players at a game, can we now?
Hey, look, someday he's gonna beat your Ms. Pac score on Galaga.
Oh, he will. And actually, you know, he found some tournament like the winner gets in Galaga. The winner gets like 10 grand, and he's like, hello.
Dude?
That's
Hell.
I know. I'm like, where's Miss Pac-Man tournament that pays out 10 grand? I'll tear that open.
We may have had a Ms. Pac tournament that had 5 grand. It was this year. I'm afraid you missed it.
I didn't see that one.
Too
gotta-
busy.
You gotta pay attention to Spring Series and come out here, man.
Well, that's not just Miss Pac-Man. That's a bunch of games, isn't it?
It was a bunch of games.
Yeah.
The finale was a 30-minute timed run of Ms. Pac, and you would have crushed it.
I heard you told me about that. I remember that. I'm like, yes, I would have crushed that
Yeah.
if I'd gotten to that point. Because the other games,
Robotron would have been the stickler.
I would have had to work hard at the other games.
The round of 4 was Robotron for 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes? Yeah. And that was what separated the Williams players from the 15 minutes. Williams players from the non-Williams players, as our frequent arcade champion Dylan Smith went down to not his dad Austin Smith in Robotron, and he was the favorite to win. He had won the previous year's tournament. But yeah, then we got to the final round, and we didn't announce what the game was. It was 30 minutes of Ms. Pac. And
That would have been, if I got to that point, it would have, I mean, 30 minutes, I'm trying to think what I could hit in 30 minutes. I mean, if I'm relaxed and going for it, pressing to get all the ghosts, I could probably get, about 250, 260,000.
yeah, I want to say it was around 150 that won the tournament.
Yeah, I could.
And that honestly, that was Doug Galt, and that he was on a Ms. Pac. Both of them are Williams players. Did well in Robotron, no surprise. And he was sweating it beforehand because he knew he had never gotten even that high of a score on Ms. Pac before.
So it was his best score.
It was his best score
that's
ever.
the way
in
to do
tournament.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, he was. I have a GIF of him celebrating with.
My brother has just texted
Stacks
me.
of bills.
I guess the information to find out about that game is scorewars.com.
There you go. But not Chore Wars, which is what I would use to do my chores and not become demotivated. Because I need experience points to do the laundry. I need to get back on that website, in fact. I haven't done my laundry lately.
I was gonna say, what does leveling look like in that? Is
Just,
it grindy?
you get to set your own levels. You get your own experience points. So
What are
depends
the
on how you
mythic
feel.
rare items?
You get to set that as well.
Oh.
It's really fun. It's really fun. Setting up your chore-oriented RPG.
Okay. So after like 10 laundries, I get a really good.
Yeah, the rare drop
Scotch.
rate. Actually, that's you can change that as well. But like the weapons, if you want to name after all Borderlands stuff, they won't be as functional.
Some of ours are not that functional either.
That's true. Do you end up talking to the game design people at all? Are they in the building with you? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, they're all in the building. We have 3 floors, and it's kind of smattered amongst all the 3 floors. But I work with them a lot because they're like, hey, make the game faster. Give
Oh,
me
of
more
course.
servers.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah.
more computers. Yeah.
Yeah, I need it. You just make it bigger.
Yes, make it bigger.
Overclock it anyway.
The primary interaction I have with them is usually seeing more funny things like fan art or bugs in game where we need to fix that. But first, oh my god, look, this baby is exploding. These two tinks are in a compromising position. Ha ha ha. You know.
Shocking.
Yes.
You probably shouldn't laugh at them, but since they're not here,
Hey.
you can laugh.
You might find some interesting interactions with Roach, your horse in The Witcher 3, as you go along. Yeah,
What do you mean by that?
Roach tends to wander off into the ocean, fly
Oh,
into the sky. Roach is the horse from The Witcher 3. Oh, Roach is the horse from The Witcher, period. It's,
That's true.
yeah, but
I do enjoy calling him no matter where I am just to see where he appears.
just randomly. You're on an island. There he is.
There he is. I don't really need you, but that was fun.
Yeah. Good job making it. I had to swim.
Yeah, why didn't the drowners get you? Oh, not into horse mate. Understood.
Bam. Here we go. So
I think
rolling
we're looking
up
around
to
880 score for right now.
880?
Could break 900 if we get all 8 boards. It could be an over 900. But one step at a time.
I just don't know what your arcade record is. Look it
It's
up.
like 888.
So it's up to RNG's is whether we beat that or not. Although I guess this is a co-op score. Oh, nice.
That was scary.
Have to remember,
what we need
don't
to do.
scream in the microphone. No, just kidding.
We need a co-op score for Miss Pac. Because then you have two people trying to race to exactly like before the kill screen, and then let the next person get to the kill screen.
In the Sega Genesis version, there is a
Co-op mode. Yeah.
there's a co-op mode, and there's a world. I don't think there's a world record for it yet. I told my brother we should try that, but I have
Absolutely.
my friend's two kids. I told one of them, said maybe I'll do that. Of course, it will probably end up being me doing most of it.
Right, right.
But
you go hide in the corner and
Yeah.
run away from the red one.
Yeah, just go over here. And the thing is, if that player dies, it becomes basically one player, but you still get 2 scores. So I'm like, I guess you just keep going with one player. I'm like, okay. So I've got to look into that. All right, 16 away. It's actually a good little score here.
And after that, me and Sarah are off to not play Borderlands.
That
To
is
do
true.
what?
I said after that, me and Sarah are off to not play Borderlands.
Yeah, have you gotten to see the new Star Wars yet? I'm sure everyone except me has.
2 times, 3 times?
3 times, really? Wow.
All right,
know.
I can't
you're up.
remember. All right, I'm coming for you. Tell me when your pizza breaks down. And do I have any of this? Wow, it's a big one. Holy cow. Wasn't prepared for that. All right, I'm getting to where the I'm getting to level 19, and then I'm driving it straight to a wall. Actually, I don't think I'm close to 19. If the life is that long.
That's the first board, I think, from this. That's the first one of this level.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I think. Yeah, so
I'm drunk off of sausage and pepperoni pizza over here.
it is good, so I can see
Banana
that.
pear.
My brother just asked me, could you try to suck a little less? He's so supportive.
Wow.
That's how. Well, my first game was like wasn't up to par, and he goes, "You've embarrassed the family." We have our way of showing love. It comes in the form of massive sarcasm.
That's actually
Oh my God.
not
Nice move.
atypical of classic game runners that I know of. So Matt DeMoss has, oh my goodness, I'm going to forget his name. There are 2 dads. One of them's Matt, and the other one I actually know better, and I'm blanking on his name right now. But like, they played together. They learned burger time good enough to get to the pseudo kill screen together. They were just one-upping each other. Like, local play is always the best play, and having a rival.
Oh, I mean, it's probably one of the reasons I drove myself in this because
I'm just doing it to give Sarah heart attacks.
You can feel me over here just being quiet and sucking my breath in. Like, oh my god.
Yes.
I told him earlier I can't watch myself play. Like I can't actually watch that because it drives me crazy. Because when I'm playing it, I don't think about it because I'm in the moment. It doesn't
just
feel close.
reacting.
When I'm watching it later on, I'm like, oh, that was locked. Oh.
Yeah, I just try and get this first fruit over here. Yoink.
Do you often rewatch your games to see, oh, what can I do better? No.
I can. I've only had 2 games fully recorded and put up. This is the first one. This is the second one. The first one was at arcade in Chicago. They basically, the guy, he had his way of recording on the fly was he took his phone, he started a live stream on Facebook.
Been there.
And he clipped it. He had a mic clip, and he just clipped it over my shoulder. He asked me where I was going to stand. I stood there. In fact, I didn't move because the ground had a little give to it, so I didn't want to shake it.
Wait, you guys did it out in the dirt?
Pretty much, it felt that way. I mean, it was carpeted wood floor, so it just had so much give. I'm like, oh, I hope this support beam doesn't give. But he recorded the game
There we go.
over my shoulder, missed a ghost, and I was like, just like, I told him like I won't cuss because I don't know who's watching,
Right.
but I didn't know who's watching there, and so I got the kill screen, and it's still up there. It's still up. I tell people, I was like, if you need to get try to see how to do this, this here and that there are 2 ways to watch me play. And there's a good chance I will not explain how I do what I do better than them just watching it, because
Sure, try going in blind, explaining all these different things.
well, a lot of it's just like I've watched. There's a guy named David Race who's a top-level player who has his best at Miss Pac-Man is 899,000, and I watched his game, and the way he does it is very different to me and a lot slower. He takes about an hour longer than I do. And I think part of is that one, a lot of people don't really play this game that hard. It's not one of the, it's a favorite game of a lot of people, but I don't think it's, a lot of people I don't think, like top players don't really put time in on it to understand it, and it's the only game I've ever really enjoyed playing at this level. And so a lot of the little nuances I know about, I just know because I just figured them out. I mean, the way I group the ghost is completely changed over the last decade when I've been playing because, oh, that'd be faster. I should do that. If I spend less time in the game, there's less likely I'll die.
Right. So you would be the better GDQ player instead of the other guy who takes an hour longer, because you're optimizing your speed, not so much just, hey, safe and steady.
Oh, yeah, have you ever considered doing that, like a speed run?
Oh, like for this?
Yeah.
No, are you familiar with Games Done Quick, GDQ? Yeah, for this.
For this, I mean, I could try. I mean, the fastest I've ever gotten it down to is about an hour and 35, I think.
You're basically doing what they want right now, which is running through it. They want you to reach a goal. They want you to reach it quickly so that they can base their charity thing around it, right? And then commentate while you do it. Or if you don't commentate while you do it, then you have somebody there, for example, your brother there, to needle you while you do it.
That would be interesting.
Right. You get a couch of either support or, color.
I wouldn't be on the thing. I would go off the headphones on that one. That would be interesting because it's very challenging.
But we're basically doing it right now. It's like, this would be it.
I mean, I also don't want to play the game forever. I mean,
right, you would set an arbitrary goal.
I told Chris, I don't know if you heard, the arcade up in Dayton, the reason I went there is because David Race set a score of 1.1 million, but the game had a fix on it. It kept a top 10 list of high scores, and it kept, it didn't kill screen.
Oh.
Well, that was enticing. I was like, I gotta see that. So I played a 3-hour game. Of Miss Pac-Man, and when it hit the end, it starts the whole game over. It goes back to the first board and everything. It was very interesting. I broke the score. I got 1.48 million, but I told the owner at some point I want to go back just to see what I could do for a long game, just because I'm curious. There's only 4. You only get 4 lives, so it's not like you can go forever.
Right. And I would think for maybe like a speed run, you could do a gimmick like, hey, finish the game as quick as possible, but also without killing any ghosts.
Here we go.
Like, is it possible to do that? I don't know.
Finish the game without killing a ghost?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what he was saying. Yeah.
That is what he was. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was his, or before you got here. Yeah, his brother has a challenge where you don't eat a ghost and you don't eat a fruit at all.
So
and it makes the game much harder.
So
So
frustrating.
that seems like a good candidate.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having to avoid the little bouncing strawberry terrifying you. Like, no, no, no.
Well, it's changing the AI as it goes. So you reacting to the cherry or whatever. Hopefully not a cherry because that scores no points. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter if you're avoiding it. But yeah, avoiding the bouncing fruit means you're changing your path and you're changing how the AI reacts to you. So Sarah, I don't do this every day.
Sure.
Marathon with a legendary classic arcade game player, but more than once a year.
I was gonna say, I just
Kinda-
figured typical
kinda
Monday
interesting.
for Chris Delp.
It's not just Monday, but like at this point we've had Lonnie McDonald out. I want to say 3 times. 3 times I've streamed him, which is each time is like a 5-hour process.
And sorry, who is Lonnie?
Lonnie travels around the world, rolling the score on Joust machines. So that's
Oh.
10 million points on Joust.
4 or
Yeah,
5
okay.
hours of work.
Yeah. It's like clockwork. It's like this. We mic him up, have a conversation. He did it on a cocktail too.
And for Joust, does that continue on in difficulty?
Yeah, there definitely levels off in difficulty.
Okay.
It's really, there's no kill screen either, so it's one of the true marathon games where you just have to go for forever. And you get extra lives, so it's sort of managing it. I just heard back from my cook children's. We're thinking it's November 7th is when we do our 25-hour event. So, assuming that's the case, we'd be more than happy to have you out.
I think I might be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that weekend.
Sounds good. Bring your pillow.
So for a game like Joust, where it's high intensity and 5 hours, how do you manage breaks, or is there any downtime whatsoever?
No, he doesn't get any downtime. But he gets better than David gets because he does get extra lives. And the other thing that happens in Joust is you can conserve your movement because you're going to the bottom of the screen, and like all the Shadow Lords come down to you and like try to hit you directly.
Right.
So you just tap the button one time and you kill them. So
Makes
you
sense.
just sort of like get to the bottom, and then they're just coming at you and coming at you and coming at you and coming at you. So you're exploiting the AI in that way.
Not killing your wrist in the process.
Right. Not all the high octane moves that we're seeing David put on right now. Not that there aren't some interesting moments in the Joust run as well. But Lonnie told me that he has to account for the button wearing during his trip. So
Wow.
he's played for like 50 hours.
I guess he gets used to that. That's
Yeah. So he's actually plotting he's not point pressing, right? He's more like trying to point press the integrity of the button. Like minimalize his button presses.
So the Joust buttons use the same sort of leaf switches as old pinball machines, and I've had a new one that we ordered some years ago at a different arcade that wore out about, I want to say, 3 weeks after we put one in. They don't have a particularly long lifespan. There's a whole bunch of weird fixes you can do, but it has these two flat plates that have to touch each other. And I always thought that Joust would just be a better game if, rather than going with the authentic leaf switches, it would just use a micro switch button. But that's neither here nor there. You want the headset back? I just had something to say about Joust buttons.
No, I like that. The intricacy of Joust buttons. Well, what do you lose with the other type?
The authentic 80s Joust experience.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you can take that however you want it. With some games, people decided, no, I don't want to use, like if you look at the fighting games over here, we have Japanese-style Sanwa buttons rather than American-style hops buttons. And you may recall from, if you ever played Street Fighter in the 90s, it had those concave buttons that your fingers would sink into.
Yeah.
Those are kind of hard to press after a while. And the convex low travel distance buttons that were used mostly in Japanese arcades, which is much nicer in your hands over time. I feel like any time you have to hit a button frequently, I'd much rather use a Japanese-style button than an American button. But I can't always convince everyone that that's the case. Anyway, I'm going to pass you this back, Chris, if you want it. No?
Oh, he
You
can't
good?
hear you.
He seems entranced. Do you want the okay. All right, you're good.
Well, I know I definitely prefer Sanwa buttons myself.
I just prefer whatever those start buttons are on this pack. They're very small, though. I doubt they're Sanwas.
They're mini Sanwas.
They're very small. They're almost volcano button small.
They're chibi Sanwa.
But yeah, so Lonnie is thinking about like button integrity for the long term, which
So
is
does he
crazy
make
for me.
them switch it out before he starts playing?
No, generally he's going to an arcade, so I mean, he's just dealing with what he deals with.
So hopefully some kid has spilled apple juice or put some gum underneath it, you know.
I'm sure he's dealt with all that. Well, the cocktails for Joust are weird. Like this is for me playing this game, cocktail style, and David, you tell me how it is for you. It's the same. It's just
It's the same. It's a little
Slightly different
'cause
angle.
There's small area up here. Like I put my hand next to the joystick usually, so it's a little different in that aspect as to how it feels. But I mean, I've only really worked on one other cocktail in West Virginia. And other than that, and I was fine there too. Just my legs I have to put your legs apart, which I will admit, when I stand up afterwards, I'm gonna hurt a little bit. But
have you seen a Joust cocktail?
I have not.
Okay, so it's really bizarre because it's a multiplayer simultaneous game. They're on the same side, not like this. So you can enjoy the same screen without it flipping. Which means like they're spread out. Like in the middle of the table where you are with your Miss Pac joystick is just a blank space. And then onto the sides, like a foot off on each side, is where the players are. So they're playing literally at an angle. And so Lonnie will play, when he plays on Joust Cocktail, he'll play kind of like this.
That's wow.
For 5 hours.
Yeah, that's the part that's wow.
As
Yeah.
Chris just does a dab to demonstrate a angle style play. No.
It's all about the audience of 3 here.
Yes. Hey, there could be 2 online. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I know my brother's
Could
watching.
be up to 10. Come on now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Chat, let me hear you.
I know my brother's watching because he's
17.
Boom.
There you go. Look at that.
Woo!
Everybody in the chat say hi to Sarah.
You don't have to.
I don't know that they're actually in there.
They'll be like, she's rude. To talk about my
They-
numbers like that. 17th lucky or
They
something.
know you well.
Yeah. They're like, why isn't she like drunk yet? What's wrong
Hey,
with
Daddy,
her?
we must be close.
we are. I think
Oh.
there's 3 to go.
Okay. Who wants to do the tour around the arcade saying there's a kill screen approaching? Oh, there he goes.
Bum, bum,
Arthur is
bum.
off. Arthur's on his way. I think he's going to pull out the microphone.
Oh God.
It's going to get really obnoxious.
So now you have to slow down. I'm just kidding. Draw it out, like really draw it out. You know, like you've only been playing
Well,
for 3
first
hours.
time
No.
first time I came here, I died 1 board to go.
Oh.
So I'm like,
Get her done.
yeah, exactly.
There it is. No pressure.
Yeah, I know.
Here they come. Here they come.
I
And
think
there
they're fighting
there
for
they
something
go.
else. Yeah, I think they're fighting for something else.
Now they want their turn.
Or
When are you gonna
birthday
be
cake.
done? Should be 1 more.
One more is when it gets into the range, right? But we don't actually know when.
We don't know what's gonna happen. It could kill screen right away. It could kill screen 8 boards from now.
Let's see. I've never seen the kill screen on Ms. Pac in person. I have seen the Pac-Man kill screen in person. Thank you, Billy Mitchell. I have not seen the kill screen to Donkey Kong in person, although
I have seen that.
Billy put an impressive score on the machine. I've done. Oh, there we go. You tell me.
I
What
can't
the heck
control
is-
it. Move your joystick.
Holy cow! What is happening?
I think you're playing technically.
I killed you.
Okay.
No, I killed the
wait.
ghost.
Killed you.
I think that may be it.
Player 2, game over.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
There it goes.
Oh yeah, woo!
There it goes. And that's the kill screen.
Ah,
And
PvP.
no high score. That's the one thing
Wow.
about. That's the one thing about this. I have to.
Wow. Okay, so what were you saying? Have you ever done that in a two-player game?
Not a two-player game.
Because I've never seen that animation
I've never
before.
seen that. I have seen it mess up and then start the second player. Like when I'm not playing two players, and it just starts. I'm like, first board. It starts first board. I'm like, and then I realize, oh, it's playing the second player. It just started the second player for no reason. I'm like, okay.
It's interesting. It gave you a couple of extra points.
Well, when it started that second time, it had no board, but it had the dots. So I've dealt with that before.
I didn't know whether. So I ran into the ghost, seeing Pac-Man, and thought, oh, I'm just going to see what happens when I eat Miss Pac-Man. I didn't realize that was the
That
ghost.
was the red
pursuing.
ghost, yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
it came back to me, the dots were all there, but there was no real board. I've dealt with that before, and
Right.
basically you're just run free, and the ghosts run free. So and usually because of that, you can wrap the board. So I can just go off here and come up there and just keep going. And if I get all of them, sometimes I go back to a board normal. Sometimes I'll reset. At that point, once you get to after 133, it's just I never quite know what's going to happen. So.
Well, next time you come to town, let's do this again. Maybe I'll let Jagger have the seat if he's in town. But I just want to see like the two-player run through. I did not know if I was going after the ghost. So
I'm not even sure.
I
what
was like,
exactly
is that
happened.
a fruit? And I just went
I
after
feel
it.
like Chris was about to steal your kill screen. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to see what happens then too if the second player goes for the kill screen and gets it.
What would happen? That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean Jagger's getting better. He's approaching kill screen level.
Then we're gonna have to set that up.
We'll see it. We'll see it. Man, that's cool.
Huh.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, bro, that was fun.
David Parks from Louisville, Kentucky, with like 2 slices of our pizza and 1 kill screen on Miss Pac-Man. Gonna update the high scoreboard. Breaking your
I
own.
think I broke it just a little bit, like 890-ish or something there.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us. Next time we're streaming is, I don't know, because we're not streaming Tuesday night fights. We normally do Tuesday night fights, but New Year's not gonna happen. So it might actually be in 8 days from now. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Sunday. That would be next Sunday then. So our monthly Sunday tournament. It would include the kids' ST tournament. So no Jagger though. He has to go back before then.
He has to.
He has to go back. He actually lives in the Houston area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wish I'd known that. I was down in Houston the other day.
Next time you're in the Houston area, if you want, I'll hook you up there. So
I saw his face with that. I'll shoot something on Facebook and
Yeah,
tell
for
him
sure.
if I'm down there again. 'Cause, yeah.
very sweet kid, legitimate fan. I'm saddened that he couldn't be here, but I am happy that you could be here and actually get that kill screen. But now we have 3 more locations for you to go to in kill screen, so there's that. What's Daryl have to say about it?
What was your score? What was your score? My boss came in and interrupted me watching the feed. I'll say Jack Wagon. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I bet he put his kill screen on too.
We can always check the tape. Yeah, we can check the tape.
I want to say it was probably 889 or 890 in that range. What it looked like.
Man, that was disorienting.
Yeah, it's usually when I'm playing, I'll pick my phone up and record while I'm playing. Once I get to the 133, I'll record it and on, and you know, every so often I'll kind of make sure I've got in the middle of my screen. But if I watch the screen, it's slower than the actual game, so I have to remember to always watch the game. But
Yes.
yeah, so I've gotten used to doing that. And
We actually, some of our capture cards, we specifically designed our system when it comes to fighting games to be as low latency as possible. So we're down to like 4 or 5 frames on the commentators, like getting the action. So they're reacting, they're popping off at the right times when everybody else in the arcade is. Because it's really disorienting when the whole arcade explodes and then like 40 seconds later the commentators react to it. But we got that down to a science now. Anyway, thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Delp, Community Liaison for Free Play Arcade in Richardson, Texas. And for Arthur Williams and David Parks and Sarah, go by Borderlands 3.
Thanks for the plug.
Thanks for joining us. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
If I'd have known, I wouldn't have killed it off. I would have gone a little while. When do I get to play on the second player side of the